across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, okay, yes, it is a very good... Oh, a bit of smartness up there. A very good evening. Welcome to Me Unleashed on Talk Television and Talk Radio together, both together. This is one of the few. I've been listening around stations, and Talk TV and Radio really is the home of free speech. I mean, a lot of them who pretend to be free speech, they're just nothing.
They get told by the management we get told, do what you want and we'll look after you if you get in trouble.
Yeah. So I tell you what I'd like. Can anybody tell me the point of socialism? It's a question I often throw out. But is there any point to socialism?
It's a nice way of saying communism without saying you're communist, isn't it?
You know, I look in the control room, and if when I say these two words, there's a flinch, they're sacked after the programme.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
No, we're okay. We're okay.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's because you warned them, you see.
Because everybody that goes on, I have to admit, I have arguments with Lady W about this. Everybody goes on about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It annoys me now because he might cause real problems. Who knows? But he's the only person to get politics brought to the forefront in the world in the same way.
He does what he says on the tin.
That Nigel Farage is the only person that Rupert Loan, or whatever his name is, and our old friend Ben Habib, I'm sorry, Ben, but you are just behaving appallingly.
Oh.
If you and Rupert, what's his name, don't like reform, leave it. Go and start your own party and see how far you get. You know, you're ruining the chances of a new political party. We all need more diversity.
It's our strength, diversity.
More diversity, and the diversity that you don't get at the moment is people like us.
Yeah, it's not enough of us.
We're looked down. White middle-aged men that are called gammon.
Gammon.
I nearly said ham, but that would be wrong, wouldn't it? Gammon, yeah.
Gammon.
And if we were to say anything, more
Sensible.
or less anything, apparently calling somebody a numpty. I mean, I call you a complete...
What's a numpty mean, anyway?
Well, I don't know, but apparently it's offensive now. By the way, I need to tell you, if you're easily offended, do not watch or listen to my show, James Whale Unleashed. And because I'm not terribly well at the moment, I won't be here for the whole of the programme, which is a shame to me, but after I've done this for an hour... All right, I'm just being given information by our producer that numpty is apparently a Scottish term or word for numbskull.
It's an Alan Brazil word, isn't it?
Is it?
Numpty.
Yeah. So, Humpty Dumpty, you're a big numpty.
Again, like Alan Brazil.
You see, so what sort of person? They're usually fairly young, but not always, because, most of the front bench of our government and the front bench of the opposition are numpties. But the idea that if I say something along the lines of, the people who are breaking into this country, whether in the backs of lorries, whether bringing their family in because they have a visa to come here and study, or coming over in rubber boats, are people we do not need, send them back. And if I was in charge, I would have been able to do it by now, because it's an invasion force that we are ignoring.
So you're in for mass deportations?
Well, I'm not into mass deport. Yeah, well, actually,
that's the
if you land in a boat illegally on our shores,
or if you've overstayed your visas,
send them back. Put them on another boat.
Yeah.
Send them the other way. The majority are young men of a military age, and we allow them to go and hide out in our country.
There's about 2 or 3 million in the country illegally.
But the whole point of this is now I'm extremely right-wing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We could fly them out in a year, with 10 flights a day, 1 million we could get rid of. 22
So we're
million.
just giving up, and apparently people will apologise for me having said, we're giving up our culture and our country. When I say our culture...
Well, and the safety of women and men as well.
I do not
children.
care what colour skin you have, and I don't really care what religion you follow. I follow no religion at all. But I do care if you come from a misogynist country where you think a woman should be operated on her
vagina.
Yeah.
But you've got to accept our culture.
And if you come from a country that doesn't want to learn our language, and you want to have a woman walk behind you, and you want to be covered up, there is no place for that. Call us.
Just take our culture. It doesn't matter what race you are, but you've got to be British.
Here's the number to ring, 0344 499 1000. Violet, good evening.
Violetta.
Good
Violetta.
evening. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, can you hear me?
Sadly, yes. But anyway, let's go to the point.
Joking. Straight to the point. Regarding the socialism, it is the last thing that you want in your life. Socialism is equal to communism. They're just the leaders. That means from the moment that you were born up until you die, you're locked up in a little box.
Yeah.
And there is no escape. You can only be released for the purposes, and then you go back into your box. Whoever is a socialist, like a communist, is talking absolute rubbish.
Socialism says we are all equal except those people who are in charge.
That's communism.
Correct.
Yeah.
Communism.
Absolutely, yes. You are
You
the
know.
god itself. It's like fascism.
We
And
have
then he
such
said-
a weak opposition, and they were weak when they were the government, that I go back to this whole thing about people coming here illegally. No other country in the world
No.
will allow this. And now some of the European nations, because the European Union, no union is a dictatorship. The European dictatorship has made it impossible for people to govern their own countries. And now a lot of members of that silly club are realizing.
It's a corrupt club. I mean, a judge was caught having had a slave.
Yeah.
And they take suitcases of cash. They can never close their accounts every year. They're totally bent and corrupt, and you can't vote them out.
But Violet, if you've just rung to agree, I thank you very much indeed. That's very nice of you.
Is that it, Violet?
Just
Aren't
a
you?
second. Regarding Nigel Farage,
Yes.
he is the man. I am getting fed up in the last 2 or 3 weeks now listening against Donald Trump. Oh, he is this and he is then, and he is climbing up to Putin. No. This is the man who is making this world go by, making that country, a little blip at the moment. It will come back because he's on the right course.
Yeah.
And I'm really angry that we are slamming off Nigel Farage. He's our only hope. And
Violetta, who knows? We'll wait and see. And the polls seem to be showing that at the moment. And I think Rupert, what's his name, and Ben Thingy, really, rather than spreading all this negativity about the political party that has suddenly come from nowhere. Now, whether they get in or not, who knows?
Well, these elections they cancelled, Labour and the Tories, they're saying Reform would have won them, and they might not in the future. This is exactly why they did it. It's totally undemocratic. They cancelled elections. Unbelievable.
Hang on. Who's this from? Victoria in Cambridge. Hi, Victoria. She says, James, you sound a bit chesty. I am a bit chesty. It's from the flu I had while I was in hospital. Get some oregano oil and olive leaf extract, natural antibiotics.
Get a pizza.
Which I'm sure are okay with your other meals, meds. Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
That's a good one. Look, Matt from Hove. Look,
what does that say? Read it. You read it.
Socialism is just a way to let people who are useless in the workplace show their jealousy with successful people. Labour are doing this right now. Public sector jealousy. Of the private sector.
Yeah.
It'll ruin the UK.
Yeah. Let's talking about Donald Trump, and even Lady W and I have fallouts because a lot of people don't realise that
she's a lefty, isn't she?
No, she's not. Absolutely not. The President of the United States says things to get a reaction. Very strange. That's a little bit like what we do.
It is. That's how you do it, man.
And it actually makes people talk about it and think about it. One of President Trump's advisors is his pastor, Mark Burns, his special spiritual advisor, and he joins us now. Mark, good evening. Nice to have you on the show.
Amen.
Happy to be back here.
Now, listen, Trump has been pretty outspoken, and he seems to have upset quite a lot of people. What is your take on some of the things he's been saying lately?
Well, I think the president is exactly what America and the world needs. When it comes to the tariffs that the president is doing, the reciprocal tariffs, Obviously, it's making Canada unhappy and making other people around the world unhappy. But the reality of it is, America has been treated poorly, and that it is now time for other countries to uphold their weight. Again, the great governor of the great state of Canada, Governor Trudeau, if he decides to continue to play a trade war, then he will continue to lose to the United States of America. I mean, listen, the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index in America, is going down at a historical low for the first time in 4 years. This is one of the great measurements into which we know that the inflation is going down. Americans, for the first time in 4 years, are starting to see the impact of the economic policies into which President Trump is doing. The horrible Bidenomics that nearly destroyed our economy. And now Americans are starting to see the difference. So, they may pay a little bit more in some of these other items. But listen, at the end of the day, it is a long-term strategy. And President Trump is succeeding in doing just that. So he's doing a great job. We don't care what people are saying. We care about what Americans are feeling and how they are living here in America. This is an America First agenda, an American First administration. And thank God we got America First president in Donald Trump.
Do you think that Canada lack a sense of humor?
Well, of course they do. I mean,
they're a bit French, aren't they?
At the end of the day, Canada's been one of America's greatest partners for such a long time, but it is clear that it's now their time to pay their end of the weight. But listen, we spend way more on protecting Canada than Canada spends on protecting Canada. That is not good. That is something that.
But it's a stupid tariff war. I mean, it's 25% of Canadian GDP is from American buying stuff. It's only 1% of America. Most of American business is done within America, so they can put tariffs on people. It won't really affect them. And actually, it's rubbing off over here now. Keir Starmer's cutting aid abroad. He's doing all. He's cutting net zero. So
let's be honest. Keir Starmer is tuned into this programme.
He's become far right.
And he's listening to what we say. The other thing we have over here, and I've noticed on lots of other programmes, you've got a bunch of children coming on, and when their names come out, you say, who the hell are they? And then underneath it says political advisors or political commentators. And they all seem to know nothing, absolutely nothing. So if these people are advising our politicians, no wonder we're in such a bad state.
Well, absolutely. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, President Trump is doing what he said he was going to do. He campaigned on this, and that is to make America great again. That means to make sure that our partners pay their fair share. If they're going to do business in America, then they're going to pay their fair share. Listen, President Trump's policies is drawing manufacturing back to America. I mean, the reality of it is GE is now investing a $1 billion investment in creating U.S. manufacturing jobs. That's going to create 5,000 new jobs in America.
He's cut all the DEI as well. All that DEI is going.
Shante Group Holding is investing $35 million into America. Merrick is now opening a $1 billion North Carolina manufacturing plant. This is all happening because of the deregulations that President Trump has done to bring manufacturing back to America to boost the American economy.
Can you, when you're sitting in the Oval Office having a little chat and a cup of decaffeinated coffee with him in the not-too-distant future, could you just...
Tomorrow.
Yeah, well, will you tomorrow tell him that you were on our show? We would love him to come on if he wants to come on a show that's sympathetic to him. And unfortunately, the mainstream media in this country are, for some reason, the same way they're totally against Nigel Farage, they're totally against Donald Trump. They're full of lefty socialists who have no idea what they're talking about. The same sort of people in America who, when Trump got elected, burst into tears and started jumping up and down and stamping their feet. Let the president know the majority of us are really happy that he's in charge of the world. Here's the question.
Absolutely.
Is the world safe with Donald Trump?
100%. The fact is, we have a 30-day ceasefire with Russia and Ukraine, thanks to the boss, the greatest president of the greatest president in our lifetime, President Donald Trump. That is happening right now. The reality of it is, President Trump asked President Putin, for those Ukrainian soldiers who are right now, who are encamped or encircled in Kursk right now. That would be a great massacre if all of these soldiers are destroyed. President Trump asks President Vladimir Putin to spare the lives of these Ukrainian soldiers, which that is something that he's in agreement. The fact that right now, even in the DRC, I just got back from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and that we're seeing the Rwandan backed M23 that's attacking the eastern side of the Democrat. We cannot forget Africa, because if we're going to destroy BRICS, it's going to be done on the continent of Africa. And the richest nation through the enrichment of the minerals with President Felix Tshisekedi, who I just sit down and spoke with. America is not forgetting some of our greatest partners in Africa. And so I believe President Trump is on his way to winning a Nobel Peace Prize. He's going to bring peace between Ukraine and Russia. He's going to bring an end to this Gaza, this Palestinian-Israel war, and he's going to bring peace to the DRC that is happening.
What about Syria?
Hang on, just a minute.
Syria, yeah.
Hold on before you go there. The problem is that people who operate the Nobel Peace Prize and various other things are all members of this kind of appalling woke mainstream media. Why are so many people who are in the media, reporters, editors,
infiltration,
why are they so left-wing now? What has happened? They don't represent the majority of people on this planet.
Because they're globalists. The very same thing that's happening in the Great Britain, the very same thing that is happening in America. They are globalists. They do not care about the working class. They do not care about the hard men and women who go to work every day. They're patriots of their nation, and they are focused on the conservative values that has made our two nations great. No, they care more about the elitists, the globalists of the world that has nothing to do with the great men and the women of
it's not that they don't care. They actually hate the working class. They hate them.
They hate the working class. They hate us. But President Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump returning back to office is a sign that America is going to have peace through strength. And that's exactly what we're going to have in America. That's what we're going to have in the rest of the world, James.
Do you, I just want to ask you this question. I'm going to talk to an old friend of mine in a bit called Uri Geller. I don't know. Have you heard of Uri Geller?
No.
He's
what?
You should Google him. He can bend spoons with his mind. And a very interesting man.
He was on the Johnny Carson show. That's where he became famous.
He's an Israeli. He has written an open letter to Donald Trump. I won't read the whole thing, but I'm going to talk to him about it. He's very concerned. He's seen the future. He says he can see into the future. And he's concerned that Iran will actually blow the whole world up if they're not controlled. And he's actually said, the last paragraph goes, Donald Trump, just like Ronald Reagan, brought down the Soviet Union. You can slay the Iranian monster, but the only way to do it is by force. Do not wait. Do it now. Do not do a deal with the devil. Take the right path, which sounds very dangerous to me and slightly worrying.
Well, listen, I can tell you that, again, the fact is Iran is an enemy to the world, not just to the United States of America. They're an enemy to the world.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart because I know there was a time during the Shah where Iran were not so much enemies to America. And to see that beautiful country, and there's some innocent people in Iran, but the puppet government that is completely designed to destroy America. Again, you saw what just happened. President Trump gave an ultimatum to Hamas.
Yeah.
They either release these hostages or be wiped off the face of the planet. And that's the message that Donald Trump has put forth. They have a deadline, and I think it'll be a bad day for Hamas. It'll be a bad day for Iran if they don't meet the deadline. Listen, let me tell you what we're doing.
Okay.
We're bringing together the world's greatest rabbis and the world's greatest imams. May the 9th, I am leading a delegation at the African Union to bring the unification, and that we together, the Islam, Muslims, the Jews, Christians, coming together to speak against Hamas, the evil that needs to be wiped off the face of the planet, backed by Iran. And if Iran don't get in check, we need to wipe them off. The leaders of Iran need to be wiped off the face of the planet.
Well, Saudi Arabia and America and Israel have all joined up. You know, it's sort of, there's two sides, isn't there? And that's why you should get the Nobel Peace Prize.
That is just a few days before my birthday. So let us hope that they capitulate, because in wiping them off the face of the earth, the rest of the planet could be left in danger. And I think that's what worries a lot of people.
Well, they're weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon, apparently.
You actually say, Mark, and I'm glad you did, that you do believe, and you're a religious man, you believe that the world is in a safer place with Donald Trump in charge at the moment.
Absolutely. Again, you see the effects of it happening right now. Joe Biden, President Trump got done in 30 days, more than Joe Biden done in 4 years with the Ukraine and Russian war. I mean, what President Trump is able to do, because they know President Trump is not weak. He would actually do what he said he's going to do. He will send a picture of your house and remind you that if you don't capitulate and bring peace, we will blow your house down to ground. And that's what Ronald Reagan said. It is peace through strength. We don't want war. We don't want war. We don't want people to die. I think that people in every battleground area, there should be an area to come together where we're having peace. But if they don't capitulate, Donald Trump will do exactly what he said he's going to do. Hence why there is a 30-day peace in the Ukraine.
We've got to go to a break. Mark, thank you very much indeed for spending time with us. And we'll talk soon. And make sure you bring us peace, please.
Have a nice day.
That's Donald Trump. He's doing it, and God's doing it.
Thank you very much. Listen, if you guys want to join in the conversation, I'm reminded I haven't given out the phone number, but the number is on the screen any moment now. 0344 499 1000.
There it is.
The guy has just...
Can you put it in the big writing?
Yeah. Why'd you put it so small? 0344 499 1000. Slap it across there. And take Ash's name off. Also, you could text us at 87222. Start your text with the word
talk.
And you can get in touch with us by
WhatsApp voice message at the James Dwell on X and at Virtual Ash on Twitter.
OK, we'll talk to Paula and maybe you right after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah. Hang on, is that true?
At the bus stop.
She did not. Really? She did not.
Why not? Yeah, it's all right.
I wouldn't get that close if I were you, of identifying the person you just told me something about. You must be very careful, all of you, if you're working with our producer, Chuck. Loose lips.
Loose lips.
Loose lips.
A lot of sunk ships.
Paula, doesn't matter whether they're single or not, you know, in the same office, not on. Yes, Paula, in Halifax.
Good evening, James.
Paula, what can we do for you?
Well, I spoke to you last week, and you said that I didn't have to wait.
Paula, you're the lady who hasn't been very well, aren't you?
Her mother.
Yeah, but Paula's not well as well. How is your mum?
I've been over today. She's been in hospital for 2 weeks. They've confirmed she's got a cancerous brain tumour.
Oh, dear.
If
it makes her feel any better, I've got 2. Not that I'm trying to outdo anybody, but, you know.
Yeah, it's not a competition.
No, James, when he said to me last week, watch the podcast from you and Mrs. W. I watched them right back to February. I didn't ever realise you'd got the serious flu and things.
Well, that's the least of it. Tales of the Whales you're talking about.
Yeah, my podcast, Tales of the Whales, I do. Every week with my lovely wife, Lady W. And it's basically, it's not supposed to be depressing. I've got cancer, I'm terminally ill. And it's what you do with a terminal illness, how you get through it, how you live with it, and what it's like for the person who's looking after you, which in many cases is, in your situation, even worse because you're not well either, are you?
No, I'm not, no.
So what you need to do is you need to find people that you can talk to. I mean, it's good for you to call us, but you know, sometimes we can't get every caller on the show. And I did say last Friday, you're absolutely right. Call back and tell me how it was going this week.
He's nicer to you today, wasn't he, than last week, Paula?
Yeah, but I won't be nicer for long. So when I get bored, whoever it is...
You are Ash.
Oh, no.
No, he's not Ash. He's an imposter. So, Paula, what are you finding it okay to get? You said you couldn't get to the hospital to see your mum. Are you managing to get there now? Because there should be ways...
He's actually... been released from hospital after 2 weeks.
Well, that's good news. Are you in conversation?
Or not good news. The Jimmys have put her on steroids.
Yeah. Well, I was on steroids for a year.
Do you think they kicked her out too early from hospital?
Hang on. Sometimes there's nothing else they can do for you in hospital. Okay?
Yeah, but I know someone they threw them out too early because they want to get the beds free.
Well,
James. They've put her on steroids, and apparently there's a plan of action letter coming through the post from St James.
Yeah, good. Well, you follow that, and if you need a little more help, I've always found that the Macmillan nurses are really, really helpful. And at every hospital they have a Macmillan nurse, or probably a lot more than one. And if you go and have a chat with them, they might be able to arrange all kinds of things. So will you do that? Listen, look, Paula, I'm going to go because I've got lots of things to do. But you need to understand that 1 in 2 of us in this country are in the same position, OK? You're not alone, Paula. There are a lot of people in the same position.
Don't take away the fact that I adore my mum.
No. It doesn't take away the fact that I adore my wife either. But we have to live with it and we have to get through it. Paula, thank you very much indeed. You stop saying negative things when we're talking to people like that. No, you did.
What did I say?
You were talking about a friend of yours who got...
well, they kicked him out too early out of hospital.
Well, you know, sometimes people make mistakes. We don't need to hear about it, OK?
No,
and by the way, could you go and put makeup on? You look really ugly
I've got loads of
tonight.
makeup on.
Really? Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk to my good friend, Mr. Yuri Geller. Yuri, good evening to you, sir.
Hi, good evening to both of you.
Yes.
What I'd like you to do is not interrupt me when I tell you what I have to say. Go ahead and ask me the question.
What do you got to say?
Well, listen, I can't promise that, Yuri, because my brain doesn't work that way. And if I think of something I want to ask you, I may well have to. What I want to talk to you about, though, is what you have behind you. I've just been talking to Donald Trump's religious advisor, Pastor Mark Burns.
Yes.
And he is well versed on what must be done to save the world. You've written an open letter to Donald Trump, warning him. Hang on, let me just do the question. Warning him that if he doesn't control Iran, it could be really tragic for the whole of this planet. But you've also said that it has to be done now, because everybody knows that you see into the future, and you have had premonitions about this which are not particularly good, are they?
Yes, let me now
go on.
Tell all of you what I won't go into the entire letter, but this is what I told Donald Trump. First of all, I told him that he's a peacemaker and that he is a revolutionary. But this is what I told him. This is the important part, that my psychic abilities give me visions. And I have seen the terrible consequences of doing a deal with Iran. It will not stop them getting a bomb. On the contrary, James, they will use a Trump nuclear agreement as cover while clandestinely building nuclear weapons. Do not go down in history, I told Trump, as the American president who enabled them. Negotiations are not a path to peace, but the road to ruin. It is my duty to warn you. This is what I told him again and again, and I must do so openly for the whole world to know. In one vision, this is what I saw. In one vision, I saw mushroom clouds reaching the sky, vast walls of fire, American bases disintegrated, and U.S. cities ablaze. Iran strikes out at you, America, and retaliation brings destruction, not only to the Middle East, but all the way to Los Angeles and Japan. Millions are killed. Wait, let me finish. Millions are killed outright. Millions more die from the fallout. In the other vision, however, I see the United States and Israeli bombers destroying Iran's nuclear factories, not the people of Iran. The people of Iran can't stand this regime. I want to see America and Israel giving a crushing blow to already a weak regime. Now, nobody, James, in the Middle East wants Iran to have nuclear weapons. I mean, look at what they sent to Israel, thousands of missiles. One morning, an Iranian general will wake up, he will hear voices in his head, and he will press the red button. There's no way, look behind me, you asked me behind me. If by, God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen, but if a paper agreement will be signed, hey, look at how many nuclear plants they have.
What you're saying is that unless America bombs Iran, and the outcome of them bombing Iran could be total tragedy for the rest of the world, if only because of the pollution, let alone everything else. I mean, you're standing at the moment in Tel Aviv, aren't you?
No, you said it wrong.
He's in Jaffa.
We have to bomb their nuclear plants. Otherwise, they will send a nuclear bomb. Now, let me explain you why it's dangerous to sign a paper agreement. Because they will lie. Do you really think?
But you know, surely people in the positions of the governments of America will know all this.
Netanyahu as well.
They will, you know, once somebody starts bombing, then everybody is going to be sucked in, and the vacuum
There's a chain reaction
could encourage the end of this planet, Uri. Do you not worry about that?
Not if we stop Iran's nuclear bases. Arak, Nastan, Isfahan, they all have tunnels. Hundreds, if not thousands of tunnels.
Yeah, but if you know that...
They will hide the fact that they're still creating a bomb while this is signed on paper. Paper means nothing.
But that means we can never ever sort a conflict out unless we do it by power rather than negotiation.
With Iran, he's right.
No. In this case, no negotiation. Look,
he's right.
Look what Donald Trump just said today. Donald Trump issues grim World War III nuclear warning, which would be a war like no other. We don't want that.
No, we don't.
This is why we've got to destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities.
But Netanyahu was saying that years ago, and now he's very tight with Trump. Surely they're on the case with Israel, Mossad looking at it all, and the IAF.
Let me just put this thought out there. You know, you're biased, so we won't listen to you. Yeah, you're biased. The fact is, when the first bomb falls in the Middle East like that, then organisations like Hamas and others will get more support. Every flipping weekend, we have to put up with anti-Semitic marchers, who are basically kids who don't know what they're doing, walking up and down the cities of this nation. And you have the same, well, you don't because you're in the Middle East now, but they have the same thing going on in America. And what worries me is, to use an old-fashioned expression, violence begates violence. And
it's the people of Iran that need to overthrow the government.
But James, what are you telling me here? What are you telling all your listeners? That, okay, sign a paper, some kind of an agreement with Iran, but while the paper is signed, they're still creating a bomb, and they will throw the first nuclear bomb.
But what if
that's it?
Yeah, but, you know, the way you're going on at the moment is that people are going to stop listening to you, and I don't want that, Uri, because every day you send me a message, every day you send me some positive thought to help me fight my cancer, and I'm prepared to take anything, and you make me feel better. But if you carry on doing this, then the media that don't agree will turn against you and will...
Sorry, let me stop you.
Okay.
Fuck the media. Fuck the media. They're all lefties.
Right, thanks, Uri. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry. So,
all right. Just don't use that word again.
Okay, sorry. I don't care about the media. I care about our planet, that it will survive, but it will not survive if Iran throws a nuclear bomb.
I agree. If Iran, I am hopeful that the technology exists at the moment, mate, that if a bomb was launched by Iran, America, Israel, a number of other countries that are keeping an eye on world peace would be able to stop it before it did any damage.
Well, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, the only way to stop a nuclear bomb exploding is not the people of Iran. They're good people. They're ordinary folk out there. They love peace. They want peace. They want a better world. But the Ayatollahs, with all these nuclear bases, they will create a nuclear bomb sooner or later, probably sooner, and then one will go up, explode. That's the end of our planet Earth.
But Netanyahu said he'd help the Iranian people overthrow the government. Why isn't that moving forward?
No comment. I don't know. I'm not a government official, but what I hope that will happen is to neutralize their capability of creating a nuclear bomb. And they're already saying that they already have the material, not for one bomb, for a few bombs. That's a story. You've got to stop them.
One last question I want to ask you, then I have to go to a break. Why, I've known you many years, over 30 years I've known you. Why have you gone to Israel? I know Israel is your home, and I know you're Israeli. I know you fought in the Six-Day War. I've known you ever since, you know, you first became famous. But why, you could be living over here safer than you are living over, and you choose to take your family and stay in Israel?
It's probably safer there.
Exactly. Ash, you said it. It's safer here than London now. Look, I came back to my homeland, James. I was born here. I'm a Sabra. There was an urge in me, a burning desire. Call it psychic, call it supernatural, call it a calling for Uri Geller to go back to his homeland. And here I am, and we're very happy. I'm speaking to you from my museum. It's every day I do the tours myself. We donate a big part to Save a Child's Heart. And by the way, that's a great charity. We actually saved, listen, over 3,000 children who were Palestinian children with open heart surgery. So I'm a man of peace, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned that Iran will unleash a nuclear bomb. Once that explodes, forget it. The Earth is finished.
Uri, thank you very much indeed, my friend. Sorry if I interrupted you too much, and sorry to any of our woke listeners and viewers who actually might be offended by him saying the word fuck. And
it means something else in Hebrew. Don't worry about it.
No, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't make it worse. By the way, it said abracadabra on his T-shirt in Hebrew.
I think we should take a break and then calls. Yeah.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Me Unleashed, and Ash will sort of take over probably halfway through, sort of 11:30.
Well, when you feel like you need to, you know.
Yeah, I am knackered now, but I really do. This keeps me going, just coming in and doing it. Really does.
It's good for you.
If you please don't be scared or worried about what Uri says, because I believe positivity will champion all.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about Uri, because our producer Chuck thinks he's a magician and it's all a trick. Yeah, it was fine. Loads of people do. Once we had Uri, you've seen this as well, had Uri on the programme, and loads of magicians, after he's done something, get in touch and say, oh, I know how to do that. I don't know why he's, blah, blah, blah. It's a trick. And I've said on a couple of occasions, I've had people come in. Uri will say, it's not a trick. I can't do it every time. Sometimes it won't work. Yeah. And so
I've seen him remote view,
yeah,
and I've seen his family have a sort of argument because they both had psychic feelings, so they believe it. It's not really magic, you know what I mean? He does have some sort of powers.
And what happened was he came on the show, and I brought a spoon, and I gave the spoon from home to the magician, who tried to get over. So I've got a better spoon than that. I've got I said, no. This is the spoon. Either of you can bend it. This is the spoon. Put it down. And, of course, the magician couldn't. And Uri said, well, let me have a go. And he held the spoon and, did what he does and put it down. And the magician said, no, see, neither of us can do it. Mm. And then the spoon bent on its own, nobody touching it. Mm. So how did that work? Mm. And, Uri is over 80 years old. Have you actually ever seen anybody look that good at that age?
Let me just think about it.
No, you haven't. Good. Right, let's get to the calls. Marion in York. Marion, you are on the air.
Biden.
Marion, talk to me.
Maid Marion.
Forget Marion. Let's go to Samantha in Derbyshire. Samantha.
Hello, my lovely. Oh, my goodness me. Hello, James.
Samantha, what can we do for you?
I just want to say, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Good.
But we're being invaded, and, these migrants are coming into our island. They're taking over. What's going on? And I'm scared. I've been in the NHS for 39 years and had to leave after being assaulted. And, I'm sat in a house that I can't afford. I'm not entitled to benefits, and nobody's doing anything. I'm hard working.
I know. I don't understand. I don't understand why we have taken people who've come here illegally in boats, who've paid people traffickers.
It is an invasion. Yeah. We get more people a month than William the Conqueror brought and took over this country in the whole of the Battle of Hastings. So we're taking more a month. How was it at the NHS? Because the BBC's infiltrated. The NHS is infiltrated, and if you're Jewish and go there, you can have problems. Did you notice any problems where you worked?
Yes. I'm an ICU nurse. I was an ICU nurse and an A&E nurse until it broke me. Like I say, 39 years. I know I only have a short time, so I apologise for talking quick. But the thing is, we're taking more people in, and we're not being given the support or the training to deal with this. Yeah. And you look at the migration, and they're coming in, and we're paying for it.
I know.
And you can't get appointments.
Listen, I agree totally with you, and I'm not racist. I'm not.
It's irrelevant what race they are.
Yeah. The problem that we have at the moment is that the politicians have only just come to the realization.
They're still cowards, though.
That trying to get everybody to think they're nice ain't going to work. So whether you're a Tory or a, you have to tell it the way it is. Otherwise, you do get the extreme right wing, and the extreme left wing, and I don't want to see the extremes of any of them.
But they call you extreme right wing if you're just normal, and they'll lock you up, and they're still doing it.
So why are people who fought for this country, who served this country, sleeping on the streets, can't get any benefits?
Yeah.
People coming over in a boat illegally with very expensive trainers, phones and tracksuits, get stuck in a hotel, given a credit card.
Tennis lessons.
And
cabs everywhere.
We've gone mental.
Pensioners are freezing to death in the meantime.
And driving lessons in
£26,000. £6.6 billion have been spent on tennis lessons.
Well,
and driving
then local
lessons.
authorities who give them driving lessons need to be sacked, the whole lot of them. And can I just say, what a great thing NHS England has been got rid of. Brilliant. Well done. Can we get rid of NHS Scotland, NHS Wales, and do Northern Ireland have their own NHS? I'm not sure.
Probably.
But can we get rid of all of them? Because the only one that they've got rid of, as far as I understand it, I may be wrong, is NHS England, which is the biggest, or was the biggest quango in the world.
They said they're going to put a bonfire to quangos. They've made 27 more since they've been in.
Have they?
Yeah.
9,000 people didn't need to be employed in jobs that didn't need doing.
And they're unaccountable.
Let's talk to Marion. We got Marion, but what I thought.
Oh, we got Marion.
These names keep changing. You're trying to catch me out, aren't you?
No, she's got the same name.
Marion, in York. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Marion. What can we do for you? You're listening on the radio, aren't you? I wish you'd tell the people when they phone in, because she take her off. She's as annoying to me as I've got addicted to these reels. If you watch them, you can see the reels on the social media of tourists. We've got some of the thickest tourists coming to this country in the world. And they come here and they go to look at the horse guards and they go up and grab the reins of the horse. Have you seen those? I'm addicted.
And the horse bites them sometimes.
Oh, good job too.
But you shouldn't really come to London. It's too dangerous now under the...
No, it's not. London is not dangerous. London is one of the greatest cities in the world. And the reason people come here is because this is the greatest nation to live in. We need to tell those idiotic kids who walk around being anti-Semitic a little more about recent history. And they need to actually be shown the error of their ways. Right, OK. Marion, you know to turn the radio off.
It's the television I'm listening to.
Oh, well, whatever it is, Marion.
That's all right, then.
We broadcast on everything.
I'm listening on the phone. I'm listening on the phone.
Good. Then in that case, let us talk. You can watch on the TV, but you'll see we're slightly out of sync.
You confuse
Well, I can't hear them if I turn telly off.
Yeah.
Let's get to the point. I've got to take a commercial break any
What do you want to
moment.
say, Marion?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. What do you want to tell
Come
us?
back after the break. I can't be
we're
bothered.
breaking.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Unleashed on Friday night, 10 o'clock until 1 in the morning. Andrew Eborn is going to be your guest when I go, around about 11:15 or so. I apologise about my voice. I had this flu thing. Because of the cancer.
You seem all right. Maybe you'll be at 11:30, 12. You never know. You might.
No, I won't.
No, you won't.
I'm fine until I get up and then hobble out.
Well, don't get up and hobble out then.
Well, because otherwise, and I eventually get home about half past midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I am completely done in. So, but I love being here. James is being a div. James is being a div. Grow some balls, Ash, and
Grow
stop
so balls.
being a sellout.
What do you mean? What do you mean I'm a sellout?
Who is that? An anonymous.
Yeah.
I wish I could get
Ali.
you.
It says Ali.
Is it? You need getting by the scruff of the neck, Ali, and people like you need giving a good bloody shake.
Yeah, man.
I'm getting sick
Wake
and
up,
tired
Ali.
of what. If you don't like the show, sod off and go and watch something else.
Yeah.
Go and listen to something else. Yeah. Why would you listen and watch a programme and then come on and be so insulting? Because it doesn't frighten me. It doesn't worry me. It just makes me kind of, when I'm doing the show, annoyed. Because when I'm not, I do sometimes go, when I'm bored, I go on X and block a load of people just for fun.
Even if they're nice, you just do it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
Feels better.
Right, let's go to Mark. If you want to put Marion on, I'll try one more time. Mark.
Hello, James. How you doing, mate? You're looking well.
I'm doing shit, Mark. But you know what do you want? You know, you can't. I do look well, but you know, having terminal cancer makes you feel bad. It's not. Yeah. And I look better than him.
Well, that's not saying much.
But the most annoying, I tell you, the most annoying thing is when people go and say, "How are you, James?" And my temptation is to say, "Well, I'm dying, actually. How are you?"
Yeah, it really puts some mockers on it.
Yeah. Anyway, Mark, what can we do for you?
Right. I don't know if this is okay to talk about, but remember that MP from East London? The one who was on video at some Palestinian thing going, we should cut all their, he called the right wing.
Yeah, he wasn't an MP, but isn't that an ongoing case? We can't.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
What, have you got a general
No, we can't talk about that, Mark. Thank you very much. Tristram is in Southend-on-Sea. Yes, Tristram.
Hello, gentlemen. Good evening. I'd like to discuss the ongoing row between Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe against Nigel Farage.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you can think of something to say, please do.
Okay, so if these two gentlemen, for the sake of their personal grudges, are willing to sell this country down the river of another 5 years of hardcore socialism, what would they be like in office as leaders with other world leaders?
Well, they should set up their own political party and find out.
Well, they might actually do that.
Yeah, well, good for them.
Well, if they wish to do it, that's entirely up to them, but I really don't think Nigel's ever going to be anything short of highly popular in the country.
But what's your view on mass deportations?
Mass deportations, I have mixed feelings about it, but the problem is, Ash, these people are here now.
Yeah. So you just give up and lose the country existentially?
No, you can't. But he's quite... No, Ash, you talk rubbish sometimes.
Well, I'm not. That's what the whole point is.
You are talking
That's what Trump's
rubbish.
doing.
Tristram is... yeah, but Trump isn't doing it. He's saying
he's
just to get...
Them.
You know, you can't do mass deportations until you know exactly who the people are, because we've let them in.
Illegal people, kick them out.
From tomorrow, right? From tomorrow...
Yeah.
Arrest them on the beaches. Sorry, Christian, to break it.
That's right.
Arrest them on the beaches.
Yeah.
Stick them on a boat.
Yes.
Or a barge or anything.
Yeah. And
the more seasickness you get, the better, in my view. And send them straight back.
Yeah.
Or
and illegals and people who commit crimes like raping working class girls. Kick all them out.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a couple of million, 3 million.
But you know, you can't just say mass deportations.
Well, 2 or 3 million is a mass deportation. Needs to be done.
You couldn't do 3 million. Don't talk.
You can do it. 10 flights a day would get rid of 1 million people a year.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. My other fear would be, say that one of those two fell out with Donald Trump. You think of the damage they could do the United Kingdom if they carried on like this on all their social media platforms. Trump would not tolerate this from either of them.
No. And I think that the social media platforms, unfortunately, I think a lot of the people who run them don't actually understand the power that they have. I think terrestrial TV and radio, as we're proving, because since we left terrestrial TV,
we're different, aren't we?
We've done remarkably well. And I think they are going, and I think there'll be a lot of companies who
New
will
media,
suddenly... Yeah, because, you know, you could... We do it here. I do a podcast. Chuck does one. Loads of people do podcasts here. We've got, you know, Piers is still doing his programme, and that's the way forward.
People are listening because they're telling the truth, because they're not ruled by Ofcom, which they're trying to get their hands on.
Yeah, but Ofcom couldn't rule it anyway.
Well, they're trying.
They can't rule the media now. Look at what the BBC gets away with.
Yeah, well, that's true. They're on the same side.
Christian, good to talk to you. You agree with everything I said. Thank you very much indeed. Just before we go to the news, Marion.
Hello.
Hello, Marion. What is it you wanted to say?
Come on, Marion.
I wanted to say what you think about Kent Council giving over 244,000 to illegal immigrants to learn how to drive.
Yeah. I think it is absolutely appalling, and Kent County Council, and I live in Kent, should be absolutely 100% ashamed of themselves.
Well, they won't
Marion, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to take a break for the news and then more calls when we come back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okie dokie, yeah, here we are, second hour of the show. James Well Unleashed, Ash Unwashed. We're here to one. I think I'm going to make it till the next break. If you want to join us, 03444991,000. We had Uri Geller on a little earlier saying that if we want to keep peace reigning in the world, then America has to take over Iran.
They're already on that case, though. I mean, Uri should know.
But I don't think bombing another country is going to bring...
No, but you have to get rid of that IRGC, who are all the proxies around them, are running this thing, and Trump knows that, and I'm sure they're on the case with this.
Yeah, but when are we, jumping to something else, but something that's still kind of, in my view, a bit difficult, when are we going to leave the European Court of whatever
Human rights?
Yeah.
Well, we need to do that.
I mean, these bunch of Wally justices sitting in other countries are telling us what we can and cannot do.
Because they don't like the chicken nuggets. I mean, they're not even proper judges. There's some just... Why do we not want our sovereignty? Why do our government not want to control things? That's a weird thing.
And why, when Brexit came in, didn't the government do it properly? And now, because another party that is against that sort of thing, that was becoming very popular, looks like it still is, Reform seemed to be hanging on.
They're the only option.
But a couple of the, Ben Habib, who was second in command, threw his toys out of the pram because they replaced him. And then Rupert, what's his name, the MP, decided he would probably... Rupert Everett.
The bear.
Decided that he would make a better leader than Nigel. And they're both together trying to ruin what could have been another political party that we would all in a democracy have had a choice whether we wanted to vote Labour, Liberal Dem. Are they Liberal Dems still going?
Yeah, the guy who looks a bit like Wayne Rooney and keeps doing silly bungee jumps, thinking that's going to make him prime minister.
Okay.
It's not going to work.
Anyway, it's time that all members of Parliament, or 90% of members of Parliament, actually, what are you doing?
I'm just pointing a number out, 03444991000.
Give us a call. Sam is in Kent. Hello, Sam.
Hello,
Sam.
Ainswell. Hello. What I would say is that the British must start being British. If you understand what it means to be British, you understand that collectively we must...
Sam, what does it mean to be British?
What it means to be British? Well, to me, it means aspiration. It means a collective argument that for the last 300 years we abolished the slave trade. We made sure that people were towing the line across the world.
We're super intelligent and we're the best people in the world. That's basically
We invented the modern world and we're tolerant, but we shouldn't be tolerant of intolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, enough of intolerance.
Are you on hands-free? It's very annoying. Pick up the phone.
Who?
Pick the phone up.
What, you want me to pick up the phone?
Yeah. Because you're on hands-free and it's very echoey where you are.
Use your hand.
Oh, use my hand. All right, so I
well, use somebody else's hands. I don't mind what you use.
He's disobeyed us. He's disobeyed us.
Thanks, Sam. Goodbye. Cindy's in Michigan. He's a pillock, I could tell.
Hi.
Yeah, but then I'm sitting here and he's sitting there.
A woman with a penis.
Yeah, Sam. Cindy.
Cindy, yeah.
Cindy. Hello, Cindy. Yeah.
In America.
How is America, Cindy?
Hello. Oh, my God. I was hoping to catch you, Mr. Will, before you left. I'm so happy. I feel like I won the lottery.
Why?
Well, because she'd rather talk to me than you. That's obviously why. I put my pocket handkerchief in just to talk to her.
Snot rags there,
yeah. Sorry. What was I looking for? Forgotten
what do you want to say, shit? What's going on in America?
You know what's happening? We're on the eve of a government shutdown. The government has until midnight to settle the budget for the next 6 months, and it's not looking good.
Why? What are they complaining about? I thought that they. Go on.
The Democrats aren't wanting to cooperate, and Donald Trump's the Republicans put forth a budget. The Democrats, of course, don't want to agree with it.
Yeah.
And so they're playing hardball, and they're all voting together, the Democrats, and they're not wanting to, none of them are wanting to cross over and vote for this budget to pass. So that means all government things are going to shut down. Veterans won't get paid. People in disability won't get paid. It's just a big mess.
I thought Trump had won all the different houses.
I thought he had total control.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have a certain majority, though, of the other side come through.
I heard he's going to go for all the people that used lawfare. He's going to get them now.
I believe it's got to be 66%, something close to that.
Yeah.
Of the Senate.
Well, the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves because all they're going to do is ruin America for their own stupid, idiotic, socialist views.
They're like children, like toddlers having a tantrum.
Well, you know what? Yeah, exactly. And how I feel is if they shut down the government, their money should be stopped as well.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Don't pay the Democratic representatives in your house because I wasn't aware that was happening, I must admit.
It'll be interesting to see. But a lot of them become multi-millionaires when they don't get paid multi-millions. You know, it's a lot of corruption going on there.
A lot of corruption.
But they're shutting it down. Doge is shutting it down.
Sydney, got to go. We'll talk longer next time. Thank you. Mike is in Florida. We have loads of viewers.
We're big in America.
And listeners in... more viewers in America. Mike, good evening to you in sunny Florida.
You can't get it on the radio there.
Hello, how is everybody this morning? Everybody doing good, I hope.
Everybody's doing good. We're worried that you're going to be closing down as a country if you don't get the budget sorted, according to Cindy.
Well, according to Chuck Schumer, he did a 180, right? He said, well, we're going to sign it because we have no choice, because if the government shuts down, it's going to hurt a lot of people. Now, that basically translates to, I see the writing on the wall, and I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid, right? So I think it'll get done.
Good.
They know they've lost, don't they, the left wokery. They know they're lost, and the tide is turning very quickly.
Right. But the reason why I called, I want to go back to what Uri Geller said. Now, I'm just like you. I'm not a willy-nilly, let's go and just, single-handedly bomb a country. But a more terrifying scenario that I see is that Iran is crazy enough to where they could take their quote-unquote nuclear weapon or whatever and launch it into the atmosphere and detonate it, and now you have an EMP pulse. So you can just, with one single, put it up there, blow it up, and now we're back in Little House on the Prairie days. No refrigerator, no electricity, everything is... And the people that need their insulin, and you'll wipe out millions of people just like that.
But what about Russia? Russia are the ally of Iran. They surely won't back a nuclear strike. I mean, Iran have said they're not hiding it. They want to do that. What's Putin going to do? Because obviously they're a nuclear power, but they don't want to upset the apple cart.
Well, if the Iranians do what they do, none of us will have a choice. So
we do need to go in then, don't we, Mike? But with the Iranian people on board.
What you're basically saying is Uri is right, and that the rest of the world need to keep a... Because let's face it, I mean, Iran is governed by a bunch of nutty religious freaks, isn't it? Oh, should I have said that? I might need...
Well, you'll need protection.
I might need protection now.
I'll put it in a simplified example, and maybe this can help people understand it. So you're barricaded in your house. The police are telling you, come out with your hands up. The place is surrounded. They're only going to tell you that so many times, and if you don't come out, guess what? They're going to crash through your door and come in and get you.
On that cheery thought, thank you, Mike, very much indeed.
I feel terrible.
I must confess, I didn't realise that Iran was thought of as much of a threat as it obviously is.
They say they're months away, and about 10 years ago, Netanyahu did a whole big speech withdrawing, saying if you let them do it, because of course America were giving them billions of dollars, and uranium, Obama and Biden were supporting them, but I'm sure Trump and Netanyahu are on the case, and I'm sure with the Iranian people, they need the backing of that. They can sort this out and overthrow the IRGC. A lot of them are over in this country, by the way.
OK, thank you very much indeed for that. Keep your calls coming in. Tribunal says jibe is OK. You can't get the Humpty if somebody calls you a numpty. Calling somebody a numpty is acceptable at work, according to an employment tribunal judge.
Great news. The
light-hearted jibe could not be discriminatory. But a Mr. Carla, whoever he is, he looks stupid anyway. Mr. Carla took offence. He'd probably take offence to that as well.
Oh, yeah, he does look like a numpty, doesn't he?
But you can't offend, so there, that's him. Right, let's talk to... Let's talk to Josh, who says he's a new caller. But we talked to Josh, a new caller from Cambridge, last week.
Everyone's called Josh in Cambridge.
Anyway, Josh, what can we do for you?
Hello, gentlemen. Nice to talk to you again, James and Ash. You look very smart, I must say, today, mate.
And James is.
Yeah, get on to the point, because you're not a new caller. So what do you want to talk about?
First of all, I wanted to ask what your badge was on your jacket, sir, because it's very posh.
Yeah, it is very posh, but I'm not telling you. It's a member of a secret organisation.
You're a Mason. I'm only joking, my friend. I'm only joking. No, basically... Obviously, last time we spoke, I did a lot of Keir Starmer bashing. I'm surprised the police haven't been at my front door. I did want to talk
Give
about...
them time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Shall I be worried? Shall I hang up?
Preparing your cell.
I'd be worried, but go on.
Oh, well, this is called Unleashed, correct?
Yeah, man.
For me, not for you, but go on.
You haven't got freedom of speech, yeah.
And that's the country we live in.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance says so as well. But never mind. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the attack on the farmers and basically with the government wanting to build on the green belt.
Yeah.
Whether this is true or not, I don't know. But I've heard this week that obviously prices from the farmers for the inheritance tax that they're not allowed to pass through, basically it means that their land is going to be sold cheaper, and it's being forced through government to sell their land.
It's being stolen, and
well,
Bill Gates...
hang on. They're talking about it, but it's nowhere near a reality at the moment. But it's something that has been floated out there. They've got enough problems, I would have thought, the government, with taxing.
Yeah, but Bill Gates is the biggest private owner of farmland in the world, and he met Keir Starmer a couple of days before they announced that they're going to put this inheritance tax, and it's part of the work the WEF.
Yeah.
They're trying to steal their land.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with that. That's just a conspiracy theory by my long-haired friend.
Stealing their land.
But hopefully they won't do that. If they do that, then the whole of the farmer industry will go on strike. Go on.
Can I put my conspiracy theory out there without being the police knocking on my front door?
Not necessarily, no, you can't.
I'm speaking to you now, so obviously I hope you'll back me up because you're two lovely gentlemen. Obviously, this is a premeditated attack to be able to buy this land for a lot cheaper because they don't want to pay the prices, obviously, for the green belt.
I don't agree. I don't think they'll do it because if they bring the cost of housing down, generally, if they make houses much cheaper. A lot of people who've been lucky enough to buy houses did that in the understanding that they would have enough money within that house for their old age, because the pension certainly isn't going to look
But they're also stealing the farmland for having farmland themselves in a private company, taking it off the farmer.
I don't think it's going to ever go ahead. I think there's going to be...
Gentlemen, and I agree with that. It's all backhand doors, behind doors. We'll get the land for cheaper. My friend, the backhand will buy this for this, and then it's...
Who is your friend?
Profit. Ash, I was calling him my friend, sorry.
Bye, go.
Friend of the farmers.
Away. God, I didn't like the sound of it. Do you know, the reason I didn't want to talk to him anymore, he's got
a lot of sense. He's very sensible
one of those
man.
patronising voices.
Yeah. Well, he's from Cambridge, called Josh. What do you expect?
All right. OK, I'm going to choose my last caller. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to go and leave him in charge.
Yeah.
I'm going to transfer into Andrew Eborn. I'd like to be younger.
Well, I don't know if we can do that, yeah.
That is the rudest thing you've ever said to me, and I may well be looking for a new producer.
You are very similar.
I bloody well am not. I don't mind being her. Right, let's talk to Robert in
Hertfordshire, Bob.
Yeah. Robert, you're on the air.
One thing I haven't got is a patronising voice, I can assure you.
Well, actually, you wouldn't know, would you?
Well, I'm a Cockney. I don't think any of us are patronising.
You're a what, did you say?
I'm originally a Cockney.
Cool, blimey, Governor.
I come from Clerkenwell.
Your accent's got nothing to do with whether or not you sound patronising. But carry on. Carry on.
Right. I missed your show earlier, and I'm sorry that I missed Uri Geller. But if he's talking about attacking Iran, why don't they just bend all their spoons and stop all their watches? That's a good idea, isn't it?
God, I thought it was going to be a good. I thought it was going to be a decent call to finish my bit of the programme.
They don't use spoons, do they? Put bread in.
No. You know, it's just a stupid thing. It's quite a serious discussion we were having about that, Robert. The fact that you know, people like Uri and others quite seriously feel that unless Iran's nuclear capability is destroyed, and to do that, there would have to be a war. Worries me greatly, but you know
they're already bumping off Iranian nuclear scientists in Iran. The Mossad are regularly. We don't hear about a lot of stuff. What's going on?
Why don't we hear about it?
Why do you value his opinion? He's just a magician. It's just.
Now you've gone too far.
No, Robert's trying to wind me up. And
no, I'm not, James, I love you.
He's a chirpy Cockney.
No, he's not a chirpy Cockney. He's obviously a socialist.
You think pretend?
He's a socialist.
No, that is that is terrible. Now, you can call me anything. Don't call me a socialist, mate.
Robert, thank you very much indeed.
Do Jerry. Do Jerry in Burton on
Can we
Trent.
do Joe in Burton on
Jerry.
Trent? Jerry, yeah, Jerry. Hi.
Jerry. Jerry. Oh, no, they're ringing him back.
Oh,
here we go.
right,
Here's
okay.
Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
Hiya. Just to show you how disingenuous and deceitful our government are, just stop and consider what other countries treat their asylum seekers the same as us. None.
None.
What other countries fully comply to the European Courts of Human Rights?
None.
Well, America were giving them 4-star hotels in New York and 5 until Trump got in. That's what we need.
Yeah, but that's the States. But hang on a sec. What
You
about...
said what other countries doing?
Ash,
Well, I'm just
stop it.
giving you
You're
an
being
answer.
boring.
Just giving you
You're
an
being
answer.
boring.
Well, he asked a question.
You're being boring.
We are told our country, aren't we? We're told our country has to fully adhere to the European Court of Human Rights. Yes.
Because we've got useless politicians, not all of them. We've got a few good ones.
The government.
But basically useless, and the Tories.
And the Tories.
Because they did...
They let $1 million a year in.
Yeah.
1.6 million gross.
But
you know,
every year.
And because they have a misguided view that lots of people coming to this country will be good for business.
They don't really. There's
they
some
have
other
no
nefarious reasons. They're the uniparty and they need to be all got rid of.
But can I ask you guys, what, if you stop and think about it, have we ever breached the European Court of Human Rights?
I don't know.
With our chicken nuggets.
If we had, we'd probably be in trouble, and our politicians would probably be apologising like mad.
We have the right to under national security, but we don't because we're spineless cowards.
Do you remember Cameron did it when it came to the prisoners getting a vote?
Yeah. Yeah, but he tried to, the ECHR, and they voted that out in the end, didn't they? But it was Cameron that started. He carried on with Blairism. Why is a Tory carrying on with Blairism? He should have been repealing it all.
Let me tell you, the last few most of the leaders since Margaret Thatcher have been absolutely appalling.
Nearly all of them.
You know, think of who we've had as leaders. John Major, pretty awful.
I think the best was Liz Truss, because they all ganged up on her and they got rid of her. She was actually quite.
Well, we
some
don't
good
really
ideas.
know because she didn't have long enough to do anything. But the idea
Theresa
that
May,
when
Boris.
we vote in an election, we are basically voting for the person who runs the party because we see them being in charge, and so they have to have a decent personality. They have to, and that
But then
is
the
very
Tories
important.
get rid of the person that we
and
voted
that has
for.
to stop.
Yeah.
And in the same way now that a few people are ganging up on Nigel on reform, they're going to do it before they have any power in Parliament, before they become a political party. They're going to ruin the whole thing because Rupert What's-His-Face and Ben Thingy are not going to be... if they started their own political party, nobody would join it for a start.
Elon Musk is expressing an interest.
Elon Musk has gone a bit loopy, and I think Donald Trump will be distancing himself from Elon Musk in the not-too-distant future. Oh, look, X has banned us both.
Oh, no.
No,
we didn't mean it.
I was going to ask you, what about net zero? Who debated that in the House of Commons?
Well, they're winding back on that now, aren't they? Because
net zero is a waste of time.
You look at Miliband, he looks deranged, and he seems deranged, doesn't he?
Yeah, net zero is never going to happen.
They're already rowing back on it. He'll be out of a job soon. He'll be out of a job.
I saw that weather bloke, but I don't really want to have on the show anymore.
Francis Wilson.
Yeah. The guy who used to Carry On. Yeah. And he was on another station today, and I just happened to catch it by mistake. And he was just talking so much rubbish. He's not coming in while I'm on the air.
They're the ones that always rant, aren't they?
They do.
And all the lefties, they climb out of the pram, don't they?
Yeah.
So you can't say any sense because they know they're on a losing wicket.
Jerry, good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. I am feeling a bit knackered now, so I am going to go.
Well, nice to see you,
I have
Bubba.
enjoyed
Nice
it.
to see you, man.
And keep calling in 03444991000. I will take off my microphone. You see, look. So
can I have your medal as well?
Definitely go and get off my medal. And hopefully see you next Friday. In the meantime, whatever you do, stay tuned to Talk. It is the best station.
Press previews next. See you next.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. James Wales is left the building. Well, he hasn't quite, but he will do. Give us a ring, 03444 991 1000. There's his chair. You should take it out. Anyway, yeah, give us a ring. We'll get you on, and you won't be shouted at as much. Well, you might be. There's the number. And if you're on the radio, 03444 991 1000. And WhatsApp, you can send us a voice message. We've got Kenny and Jean and John, but we've got a few spaces, and we'll call you back. It's all going to be calls after midnight. But now I'm joined with Andrew Eborn.
Hello.
Who's just back from Cannes. What were you doing in Cannes? We're going to do a press preview in a minute.
I was in Cannes for something called MIPIM, which is the biggest property festival in the world, and I was engaged to basically present and host at these various
with Russell
events.
Quirk.
Oh, well,
because he's an
Russell
estate agent, isn't he?
He is. He's there.
He seems like it.
They love estate agents. And so yeah,
he's great though, Russell.
I grabbed a quick coffee with Russell and then sort of did other bits of business. And I was there with Sadiq Khan. There you are. Yes,
Sadiq Khan in Cannes.
Yes.
What were you doing with him?
Well, he was asking after you. We were doing invested in growth. You know, he's
not
simply
investing
next to me.
in growth. Ruining this city.
Well, there we was. That was
look,
me.
because you're much taller, the sign's all skewed.
Well, this is the thing about investing in growth. You see, the irony.
He needs the growth, doesn't he? Yeah, he needs a bit of
he's
growth.
5'6" and a bit.
How can you have a mayor that's 5'6"? He's representing the greatest city in the world. He's 5'6".
Well, he's around the clock mayor. He's a day mayor and also a night mayor. See what I did there? We're here all week.
But Boris is short. Was short as
yeah,
well.
but I think that's right. And little men
and Livingstone
and little women, they always sort of punch above their weight. So
yeah, little small man syndrome.
I think it's Napoleon started that. Didn't
was
he?
it nice weather? Because we had all right.
It was horrible. It was torrential.
Good.
It was torrential rain. I'm sorry, I got lots of sympathy. But no, I was there doing wonderful things with the Japanese and swimming in champagne and drinking and
yeah, that's what you normally do. Anyway, the press.
In aspic.
Time for the press preview. Let's start with the Times. The real Camilla and the love story behind the throne. That's in the Times, and it's interesting. She seems like a real good egg, doesn't she?
She does, and she's gone through that sort of Marmite thing. People used to hate her when, obviously, with Diana around, and there were 3 in this marriage routine. They've now loved her. I was,
and since she got rid of Emu as well. No, that's Rod Hull. Sorry. No, go on. Yeah, what was it?
I used to. I'd be a trustee of a charity. She was called basically the UK Harvest, which is all about re-educating people about food and so on and so forth, about food waste and everything. And she was brilliant. She would come along to an event and she would make sure she spent time with everybody. So, and that's really what they're doing, that sort of stuff.
Pressing the flesh.
She was pressing that flesh.
Because Macron's wife, they was in a war memorial and she took her hand and Camilla threw it away because it's not protocol.
Well, it's difficult. A lot of people don't shake hands, and the Queen, the late Queen.
Do you remember? I think it was Trump put his arm round her. But she was all right, actually.
And he's going to be the only
fall
person.
Over, though, yeah.
Well, no, he was all very handsy, wasn't he, Trump?
But he loves his country because his mum was Scottish.
She was, Mary. She was up in Scotland. Glorious, a wonderful time. And she had this wonderful hair. And she was a real force of a character. As
and
indeed
that was Donald
Fred.
Trump, yeah.
As indeed was Fred.
Fred
is his father.
Oh, is
so
it?
that's what he got. If you ever go see the movie called The Apprentice.
Oh, I will, man.
It is brilliant and a good insight, but it sort of stops before the current day stuff. But it's an interesting.
Well, it would have to, wouldn't it? Because they made it before current.
Well, no, they went up to a certain period.
Well, that'll be the sequel, like Police Academy. Anyway, 1 million to have disability benefit cut by Labour. Anyway, it's probably a good thing because I think there's obviously not for genuine people who need it, but there's a lot of people swinging
There's a lot of inefficiency. When we look at America and you see how good the Doge is doing, the Department of Government Efficiency, there's good things and bad things. If people genuinely need it, then absolutely they've got to get in there.
Because the genuine people, I know disabled, and they miss out because there's not the funding for them. And if we got all these people swinging the lead out of it, they'd get the proper support.
You're absolutely right. So we need to make sure that those that need it get looked after properly. Where there is inefficiency, then we need to deal with that. It's what I always talk about. AI, artificial intelligence, can speed
because you're a futurist who knows about this stuff.
Absolutely. And so you worked on that sort of principle. So we can get rid of inefficiency. We can make sure that people are looked after. But there are people out there who will be worried by this headline. The thing is to make sure that people are properly looked after. And actually, there are certain people who are not being properly looked after at the moment. Some of whom phone in.
And certain people who shouldn't be being looked after.
And if it's wrong, if it's an abuse of anything, then it needs to be looked at.
Well, have you seen that some people have like brand new cars and they get free tyres and free this, free servicing, and a lot of them don't. You know, they don't need it.
No, I think that's right. But the better headline, rather than 1 million to have disability benefit cut, it would be much better said, those that need it will be looked after. Exactly. It's all in the message.
It says here, 1 million people face having their benefits reduced under an overhaul of the welfare system. Cost-cutting reforms due to be announced next week are set to deny payments to many people with mental health conditions and those who struggle with washing, dressing themselves and eating. Yeah, why do you need money for that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, you need people to help you, is
well,
the
no,
idea.
They're talking about other people who maybe have... I mean, obviously, if you need physically, but if you, like, got a mental and go, I can't be bothered to get up, and you know what I mean? There's certain...
I think if there's an abuse, you're absolutely right. But you can see how the cuts work. This is normally the size of a football pitch, but cuts are happening even the size of the newspapers that we receive now. Thank you in the gallery. It's got to be good.
By the way, we've apparently got someone who fancies you here.
Oh, well, good heavens. Eyesight is improving all the time with the small print.
Come in. By the way, text us 87222, text the word talk. Let's have a look. Great show tonight. You made even better now that Andrew Reborn is on for a bit of eye candy.
That's on the repeats.
That's Gary in Glasgow. Give us a ring, Gary. Maybe we'll set you up.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yes. So, and the Guide to the Six Nations, if you like rugby.
Oh, and even somebody's texting now. I love it. People are instantly doing it. Michelle Obama had her arm around the Queen's waist when they had their state visit, and Camilla was royal patron a lot more than coming to an event. She was the royal.
Have you heard about what's going on with Obama and that? He's with Jennifer Aniston now.
Is that right? And Michelle's a man. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, your mate said that, didn't he?
It wasn't just him. It's something which has been going on around forever, and it's been debunked several times.
But they say, oh, she could be the next, Democrat president. Why? Just because she's the wife, like Hillary Clinton. But now, you see, if she does, she won't have Obama with her, because obviously there's a bit of kerfuffle going on. So I don't think there's a future with her being president. And she seems to have lost her mojo.
I did think at one stage, I predicted a long time ago, that probably not in the current climate, that wonderful Meghan had her sights on being president one day.
That's right.
She might have had her sights. I mean, an interesting time at the moment. I think they prefer her over there than they do over here.
But Michelle Obama, she's lost her trust. And as you know, trust comes and walks in and then it leaves on horseback. Bingo!
Thank you. I should charge a royalty each time.
The Daily Telegraph.
Yes.
Stop your games, Starmer tells Putin. Oh, I bet he's quaking in his boots. Russian leader shows disregard for Trump plan, says PM before EU-NATO summit. So Keir Starmer has accused Putin of playing games by delaying... Well, he's doing the art of the deal. He's read his book. He knows how to deal with it.
He knows how to deal with it. And Trump's definitely helped Putin with this sort of stuff. But what Putin's saying is that, hang about, one of the conditions is I don't want you to rearm when we have a thing. And whatever side you're on, it doesn't sound unreasonable. We're just going to give you a break so you can get even better and come back again. What they need to do, and this is a story covered in a number of things, is about the children and those who are held captive at the moment. There needs to be...
They stole the children,
exactly. There's some horrendous things. So we need to deal with that sort of
side. And they're killing the prisoners.
It's horrible. But basically, Putin, you see the optics at the moment, it's all in his favour. That's what seems to be... Certainly, Trump's rhetoric has helped. It's totally a game of chess. And the other, go for your bingo card all the time. The first casualty in war is... The truth. And that's the reality. We need to look at that. We've got them all.
Anyway, we're going to take a little break, back with a press preview, but give us a ring, 0344 499 1000, and we'll ring you back and get you on.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, it's Talk. It's the James Whale Show, starring Ash. James has gone again, but he was really good tonight, and he's looking a bit, gets knackered exactly after an hour and 15 minutes. But yeah, nice to see him, looking good. But now we're going to go and talk about reform, the Rupert Lowe situation, Nigel Farage, and we've got Jess Gill. Hi, Jess, who's a political commentator. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right, Jess. So what's going on? I mean, basically, Rupert Lowe is saying migration, we've got to have mass deportation. A lot of people agree with that. Nigel sort of agreed with it, but then he said, well, it's not practical, we can't do it, and there's a big fallout. I saw Douglas Murray saying, basically backing Rupert Lowe, saying, well, if you don't do it, it's going to existentially threaten this country, and it is perfectly feasible to get rid of 2 million people who are illegally staying or criminals. What's your view on the whole situation?
I mean, the complete Rupert Lowe situation of him being thrown out of reform is a complete nightmare. It's made so many people disillusioned with reform, including myself, who was ultimately begrudgingly against it, begrudgingly for reform, because even though they don't go far enough, I think mass deportations of people who aren't even meant to be here and people who have committed crimes is the least we can do. I mean, I've said many times on this show before that when I go down the street, I live in Tottenham, it's fundamentally just not an English, not a British culture.
Well, it's unsafe anyway. Apart from that, it's unsafe here, isn't it?
It's completely unsafe. It's filled with people who do not respect women because we've imported them over the past decade or so. It's a complete nightmare.
So you're on the Rupert Lowe side of the equation?
Absolutely. I don't know how anyone couldn't be who's seen the state of modern Britain.
Can I ask you something, Jess? Nice to see you as always. Can I ask you something? Because lots of people, at the moment, they're doing this terrible war of words, aren't they? They've got even a picture of Nigel at the races, and Rupert was in the royal box and Nigel wasn't. Why are you siding with Rowe on this?
Pardon?
Why are you siding with the other chap and not Nigel? What's the story?
Yeah, honestly, for me, I try not to criticize people, but I think ultimately Rupert Lowe, he's seen to be a man of principle. For example, he donates his entire MP salary to a charity. I think that shows he is a man of principle. And in addition to that, the amount of hard work he's put in as somebody who is constantly asking questions.
Table 960 questions. Well, Nigel did 20, and I think Richard did about 60, but of course the support of reform, they want mass deportations. That's the whole essence really of the Reform Party. That's how they sort of got ahead, and a lot of people are disappointed with Nigel saying, you know, well, it's not feasible and we can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, I think with Nigel, he's trying not to spook many people, but I don't think
it's a fine line.
Yeah, I don't think he realises that I think most of the country is fed up of the state of mass immigration. Yeah. They've seen how it's impacted the economy, they've seen how it's impacted safety, how it's impacted every single part of Britain.
But look, Trump's done it, hasn't he, in the States? So why isn't he following what Trump's doing? He's sort of he's split away from that. Is it because of what Elon Musk hurt his feelings by backing Rupert? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I feel like it's such a terrible mistake politically, because not only does it mean that Reform's lost 20% of its presence in Parliament, but also it's just alienated so many voters. I honestly think it's just such a mistake from Nigel, and it's just divided so many people. When we had a shot of winning, we had a shot of making a change. And honestly, in the next election, I don't know if I can vote for, never mind campaign for Reform.
It's the problem. I have, Lawrence Fox and Ben Habib have been on my show several times, and they say that part of the problem with Reform is it's not really set up properly like a party. It's like a one-man funding campaign, a GoFundMe for Nigel. What do you think, I merge his name into one, what do you think Rupert Lowe should do now? Should he join the Conservatives?
Oh, not in its current state, absolutely not. I mean, last election I was advocating for 0 seats for the Conservative Party. I was straight up saying the Conservative Party needs to die. But at this rate, if Reform isn't advocating for anything better, he might as well join the Conservative Party.
Well, what about forming another one with Ben Habib? What about forming a party with Elon Musk's financial support? Surely they'd grab a big chunk of Reform voters and maybe they'd have a bit of a go in the next election. Otherwise, we're knackered then, if we ever get there.
Yeah, I think it's a possible solution, but I also think you only have one shot of a new party, and I think, honestly, the vote is so divided already.
So they've got to make up.
It's so awful that this has happened.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Rupert sent yet another public letter saying, come round for dinner, let's sort it out privately.
He's trying to sort it out.
He's trying to sort it. Well,
Nigel
in public
want...
he is. In public he is. Yeah. Interesting, you talk about not forming another party. Ben Habib, as I say, I was speaking to him just a few days ago. He's formed this UK pack, the UK pack, in a similar way as they have in the US, which basically what he wants to do is to unite the right, because he says if you can get all the people together rather than forming another party, you've got a real chance. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, I do like that idea. I think, honestly, it's a matter of egos and personalities, and also people not being honest with the conversation. Like, I know deportations or remigration might be seen as a dirty word for some, but honestly, I think what's even more abhorrent is what's happened to our country for the past decade. I think the current transformation of our country, we need to have these conversations.
Apparently Anne Widdecombe, there's rumours Anne Widdecombe has said that Rupert Lowe has met Nigel Farage today. So if they really need to get together and get Ben Habib involved, get the best people and unite properly against the Unity
Well, you
Party.
say Ben. I'll tell you what happened. Ben was telling me that when he left the party, Nigel Farage sang hip, 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 hooray, the sun has got his hat on. He was so delighted. He's got no love lost between him and Ben. Do you know why they fell out?
Well, Ben didn't like the structure of the party.
It's the same thing, wasn't it? And this is what they're criticising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant thing, and again, it's a shame because I feel like Reform had an actual chance of becoming, if not the next government, at least the opposition, and I think that would have been a remarkable success and a great thing for the country.
And I'll tell you, the really sad thing as well, Jess, and you and I have sat in studios together as well, is Reform was really formed. The DNA of Reform is in this very studio. David Bull was sat in the seat, we did his show. Richard
He'll
Tice...
be in tomorrow. I think Alex is doing it tomorrow.
Anyway, but also Richard Tice, they both, the original people were here.
That's right,
and Ben Habib. Without this studio, there would be no Reform.
Do you think they can't win next year? Not next year, in 4 years' time? Do you think now they've blown it?
I think they can't win next year.
Well, you never know. But I think they can all get it together. It's possible. Do you think it's possible, or do you think they've blown it? And what do you think will happen? Do you think we'll just end up with another 5 years of Starmer, which will be the end of it?
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. If we continue with petty fighting like this, I don't know how Nigel Farage doesn't just put everything to a side and realise that if he doesn't, get his stuff together, like, the country is just going to collapse. Yeah. Like, it is dependent on Reform, and he's just messing it up over something so silly.
Did you see Douglas Murray today, basically back in Rupert Lowe? Did you see that? A lot of people listen to him. Maybe Nigel will listen to him.
Same with Elon Musk as well. I've not seen anyone actually come to do the defence of Nigel Farage, really. And I think
James Wales did.
Oh, really? Yeah. What was his idea?
Oh, no, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. He's won.
Sorry,
go on. James is doing it.
Go on, Jess.
Well, I was just going to say, I've not seen anyone really bat for Nigel, which is crazy considering probably like a year ago I would have said he's the most popular politician. But I think, quite frankly, he is threatened by Rupert Lowe. If you look at the Twitter engagement, I know Twitter isn't everything, but if you look at Twitter engagement, he's getting millions more impressions than Nigel Farage is, because he is genuinely representing the British people.
Well, I think it's bigger than the people are saying, oh, it's only Twitter. Well, you look at what happened with Trump and Elon Musk. I think Twitter is quite a major player now in politics.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think in real life as well, when the election does come around, I think it only takes people a few minutes to realise that Rupert Lowe is an authentic man, he's an authentic politician. And I think people, everyone knows Nigel Farage already. Everyone's already, who would have voted for Nigel Farage, has voted for Nigel Farage. So I think, having Nigel Farage alone isn't going to get them that vote. Yeah.
But it's
what's going to get the vote is relating to the British people and actually pushing an authentic message, and I think Rupert Lowe has that factor.
But they say, oh, no one knows who Rupert Lowe is, and Nigel's. But that doesn't really matter. A lot of people, his brand might be well known, but a lot of people obviously don't like Nigel. And if Rupert did become leader or he will get more well known within 4 years. So, do you think with all this that Nigel, because he's been an MEP and he's he did Brexit and all that, but this is a big moment where he can sort of maybe save the country. Do you think he's actually compromising, and do you think he's right to? I think he might be right to.
Yeah, I don't think Nigel Farage can win alone on celebrity appeal. I think he's actually hit the ceiling of how many people are going to vote for him. I think people need more than that. And in terms of people not knowing who Rupert Lowe is, people just don't care about politics nowadays. Like my own sister, she's like 32. She's very successful. She's very intelligent, university educated. She doesn't even know who Keir Starmer is half the time. She always calls him like Keir, I don't even know what she calls him, but she always forgets his name.
And that's the problem.
People just don't care.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jess. And this is why it's so important with these social media platforms. I mean, Trump, and the reason he reintroduced TikTok to the US, he said it got him a certain demographic with the youth vote and so on and so forth. But you're right about this. If the party is fragmented, it's not going to win, is it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, Rupert Lowe was the only thing that I really found passion with reform. Other than that, like, it would be almost as irrelevant as the Conservative Party is. But I think Rupert Lowe, for example, bringing up the grooming gangs, really representing the grooming gangs, it made reform look like a credible opposition. So I think without reform, having that power, which is Rupert Lowe, they're really missing out, because honestly, the rest of them, including Farage, including someone like Lee Anderson, like, even they've been kind of absent. It's only been Rupert Lowe, and that's why he's risen to fame so much.
And what do you think about them calling the police and getting the police involved? A lot of their voters, they don't like. That's something that the left do, you know, stopping freedom of speech. That was a bit of a big mistake. And their chairman, what do you think about the chairman of Reform?
Oh, don't get me started. Honestly,
I will do.
I don't. Like, how old is Rupert Lowe? Like 67?
Yeah, 67.
27. He had a tough paper round.
And the chairman's about 35 and got bodyguards. He said about slitting the throat. He said the party Reform is slitting its own throat, and they sort of turn that around.
It is so
Machiavellian, isn't it?
The people who are against Nigel say it's such a waste of Reform's money to engage lawyers to fight basically Rupert in this public way.
And the police as well.
It doesn't, and the police and everything else. It's dirty tricks. And some of the points that Rupert has made, others have criticised as well, like Ben Habib, talking about, well, it needs structure for the party. It mustn't just be about one
Not
person.
a protest party.
Exactly.
And it is, what do you think about it? It is possible to do mass deportations. It might take a couple of years, but it's very possible, isn't it?
Follow the Trump lead. What do you think?
Absolutely. Again, I think mass deportations is the least that we can do at this point. Like, Britain has just collapsed at this point.
That's the main thing to do, isn't it? That's the most important thing to do to get our culture back, the British culture, and our streets safe.
Well, the other thing as well, Jess, and a lot of this, and there was talk about Elon giving $100 million, as you know. His father Errol's on my show all the time, and we spoke about bingo. We spoke about this, and the reality is they're divided as to support for Tommy Robinson, and that's what sort of happens. Where do you stand on that?
So in terms of Tommy Robinson, honestly, I think it's best to... Well, for one, Tommy Robinson's very symptomatic of the issue of grooming gangs, the issue of mass immigration being ignored. I don't agree with everything Tommy Robinson's done, but I think the fact that he's raised awareness to this is a lot more than most of politicians can say.
He's a product of it, isn't he? This is what has manifested because of this. And the reason your sister didn't know stuff, and a lot of university students won't even know, is because after Brexit, they were all disengaged because they were all disheartened by the fake democracy we live in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, again, that's why so many people related to Tommy Robinson, whether you like him or loathe him. I think he came across as authentic. I think that was also what people liked about Farage. And ever since he's become an MP, I think he's absolutely ruined it. I think people liked Rupert Lowe the same way they liked Tommy Robinson, because they just want authentic people. And for some reason, politicians just seem to... They just don't have that.
It's a hard job for Nigel, you know, trying to become mainstream, and you can't do this, and you've got to straight. So I understand why it's really tough for him, but people do want a straight talking, you know, answers.
Oh, no, he absolutely. We need characters in politics, and this is why. Well, Boris Johnson, he was that sort of Heineken politician, could reach parts of the electorate that other couldn't. He then became this Marmite figure that people derided, and Nigel's got the same problem with it. It's not just about personality politics. You have to address the issues, and to give the people who want to criticise Nigel such a wonderful game-changing bone, if you like, and throw their own person, their own party members to the crocodiles, is not a good look, is it?
Oh, it's a terrible look. Again, I was relatively supportive of Nigel Farage. I thought that if we were going to save Britain, Nigel Farage was going to be our guy. And since he can't even control a party which has 5 MPs, how is he meant to run the country? Like, we're criticising the Conservatives all the time. We can criticise Liz Truss and her blunders. But honestly, at this point, I don't think Nigel Farage would be any better.
No, right. Thanks, Jess. Well, look, we've got to take... What's your YouTube, your website, your Twitter?
TikTok?
TikTok?
Yeah, handle.
It's TikTok, isn't it? Yeah.
JessGill03.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jess. That was brilliant. I'll be back. It's a James Wells show. He's gone home because he was tired. He'll be back next week, next Friday. It's me and Andrew Eborn. But give us a ring right now, 0344 499 1000. It's the press preview, and it's Talk.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, we got a few calls, but we've got a few spaces, so call in and we will ring you back. We're going to do all calls in the next hour in a few minutes. 0344 499 1000, but we're doing the papers and another Daily Telegraph. Migrants could face human rights law curbs. I've heard about this. They're going to do that, but still stay in the ECHR. The simple thing is, go out the ECHR. You're a lawyer. Get out the ECHR and make our own human rights. Churchill didn't envisage this, actually allowing it. This is ridiculous. So what's your views on this?
No, it's very simple. We have a very clear. We should have a very clear policy which is enforced in a rigid way to allow certain people in. They go through the process. They're allowed in. Yeah. Those who come in illegally
with British cultural values.
And those relevant tests and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And speak English within a couple of years.
What was that? Yes, I thank you. With subtitles, I've
got my exam next week.
It's got to be good. No, the reality is that, but it's always been, and lawyers always get the blame, which I think is unfair, but it's the law that basically does it. No, they're there to represent their clients. What happens is this, is that at the moment, everything has been frustrated as a result of the law, so we need to look at that. We need a strict policy. Trump, we've got lessons from Trump, if you like. He's being very effective. He's going to say, that's it, it's black and white.
Well, even Starmer's, it's affecting other countries' decisions because they're seeing the tide is turning. I mean, you used to be in the movie business. Have you seen this Disney? 300 million they've blown on a woke Snow White where they wouldn't, little people, they wouldn't, dwarves as they used to be called. They've banned them and made CGI, which is disgusting. And the famous guy who was in Game of Thrones, he's made his millions and pulled the drawbridge up.
Dinkage.
And they're all like that. They can't reach it.
No, it's absolute nonsense. And you need to look at that sort of stuff. It's no longer allowed allowed to be called Snow White. You can't call it Black Beauty. All of these things need to stop. Woke, go broke. And people are learning it. And actually, people don't want it. You want to be able to grow up. It's like trigger warnings. You want to be able to read original literature in its things without being trigger warnings, which just basically spoiler alerts, aren't they?
There's a new Tim Allen show, and it's become very anti-woke. Would you leave the ECHR then? I mean, that's got to be
I think the reality
they're
is
not proper judges, are they?
Well, I never.
It's just a bloke sitting in a cafe eating cheese, going, say he's got the wrong chicken nuggets,
Well, eating cheese?
Well, they do. That's what they do in France, isn't it?
They do all sorts of things in France.
Snails and frogs.
A bit of a snail. There's not much bits to have on a snail. The reality is that you need proper laws, and the judges and everybody else in the legal system can do it. We need to have clear things. Immigration, as we've always said, is the hot topic around the world. It's why people like Trump and various others around the world are hitting what the electorate basically want, and they want somebody who's tough on this. The trouble is, the tougher times get economically, the more people turn around and say we should pull up the drawbridge because we need to look after our own. Charity begins at home.
Well, we've got the highest tax takes for 80 years, haven't we? Reeves has been rebuked by Starmer over Trump blast, so there's a bit of infighting there, and also these cuts in the social security and the disability benefits. There could be a bit of backlash from his lefty, 80 MPs.
Do you believe Starmer? Do you think?
Not really.
No, but you see, he was grovelling. It was embarrassing when he grovelled to Trump.
I'm very proud of our history of free speech.
I know.
But J.D. Vance took him around the back and then actually had a go at him like Zelensky. So,
well, what I loved was that statue of Churchill back in all of those conferences. Do look out for that.
And meanwhile, they're pulling our Churchill paintings and Napoleon.
No, they've got to stop it. Put Maggie Thatcher back in number 10. He took that portrait down as well. No, I think this is all about optics. Starmer's saying this so that Trump will read the press and say, oh, he's a nice guy. He's telling people off if they say things bad about me.
Right, who are Daily Star, and this is the most important story of the night. Nessie, we're coming to get you. Apparently, Loch Ness is actually real.
Of course.
Scientists will search every inch of Loch Ness using high-tech gear to find the elusive monster wherever she is. I don't know if she's a she. The end of an age-old mystery. Oh, no, Mike Graham actually does really, and I'm thinking it might be, it's just a dinosaur, and because all the other dinosaurs got wiped out with a meteor, it was just chilling, and, it survived. And it's about 500, 1,000 years old. Cheryl's Killer Stalker. I don't know. That's Cheryl.
No, it's a terrible story.
Is it right? Yeah.
Yes, a terrible story. But Mike is really into Loch Ness. I went on his brilliant.
Well, he's Scottish.
No, of course.
He grew up in London, but his mum and dad were Scottish, and he supports Scotland.
We love Nessie. It's a great industry as well. They must be too high tech because you don't want to turn around and say, "Well, we couldn't find her because she was a bit shy." Don't go too far.
Wood and with
every nook and cranny. It's a great tourist industry. We love Loch Ness, the monsters.
The Daily Mail, £5 off vitamins. And Hoyle handed lobbyist pass for Commons. Lindsay Hoyle was last night embroiled in a new row after recruiting a former lobbyist who gave him several all-expenses-paid junkets. Oh, they're all at it. The Commons Speaker appointed Albert E. when he spent £250,000.
Just stop Hoyle. They miss the headline every time I suggest it to them.
He goes on all these fact-finding trips, but he doesn't go, to Liège. He goes to the Bahamas and Hawaii.
There are more facts in the Bahamas.
You're always there,
I'm always there.
But he's in the first class.
Hey, I fly the plane. You have other passengers on planes?
Yeah, you can fly.
What's that about?
The Commons Speaker appointed Albert Poggio as an advisor and gave him parliamentary pass, allowing him to access the Commons libraries, bars, and which are all subsidised. I've been there, and you can have amazing meals and drinks, and you get a bill for about £8. And they've got apparently the best wine cellar in the world.
They have.
While Gibraltar's representative in London, Mr Poggio, 79, arranged several trips for Sir Lindsay and other MPs to the oh, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
They have to put the other side. To be balanced, you have to turn around. Why is he doing it? Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Go for a hat trick. Thank you.
That's four.
But they do. They should turn around and say, why is he doing it? If they make it clear, then people get... What I love about our electorate, I always say this, the great British audience, they're an intelligent audience. If people just get peddled one side of a story, give them both sides. Say, why is he... how would he respond? What would he turn around and say, I'm doing this because of this? Then let the great British public decide.
But, the Speaker was the one who backed down. Oh, there's a crowd outside, and he backed Starmer. It's really just... I mean, he's better than the last guy. I mean, the small man complex guy.
Well, the other thing on the Daily Mail as well is the question about Gene Hackman, and we still haven't got that.
What happened with that?
So they're saying that the why question of whether Gene Hackman or his wife died first is key to the 80 million fortune.
What about the dog? The dog also.
Really, really strange facts, because there are pills and things. It's all coming to light. The reports last week was that the wife died first, about a week beforehand, and Gene, who had dementia, apparently...
didn't know, right.
Didn't know.
So he didn't get fed and...
So, again, we don't know that's being unpacked. The reason they're talking about the will...
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would, but it also should raise an important point. And I often say this, people will be living at home, they won't have a relative that they're in touch with all the time.
Check on your neighbours and look at milk bottles. Well, you don't really get milk, not
all that sort of stuff. But the key, what they're saying in the Mail, the question is who died first, because that would be relevant for the will. If she died first, then obviously that works on that basis.
Also, one dog died, but there's two alive. Have they been questioned?
They have. Rough justice is what
well,
look,
034... We're just going to take your calls and do a bit of the papers. 0344 499 1000. It's the James Wales Show, but it's me and... Andre, I was going to call you Andre.
Andre.
Andre Eborn. So we'll be back. Give us your call, 0344 499 1000. Back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, but he's gone, but he'll be back next week at 10. You can see our short movie we did before the show at the James Whale at Virtual Ash. What's your Twitter, Andrew Eborn's with me?
It's at Andrew Eborn, at Andrew Eborn. TV. You can do that all the time.
Andrew Eborn, not Andre Reborn, but, you know, see who that is. A couple of texts. Rupert Lowe is the real thing. He was unlike Nigel of Muslim sparing. He was unlike... I don't know what that says. Nigel is becoming more like Boris Johnson, promising what people like to hear but delivering nothing. Ali says, give me a wink, and thinks she's called in. By the way, 0344 499 1000. It's going to be your calls now, and we'll call you back. There's the number if you're watching, but if you're on the radio, 0344 499 1000. You can send us a voice message on WhatsApp. But anyway, let's go to Ali in Newcastle.
Hello, Ali.
Hey, man.
I'm not from Newcastle. I'm from Oldham.
Oldham. Well, it's north, isn't it?
I'm the Italian lady from last week.
We remember you. Hello.
Yeah, you're a singer, aren't you? You did that duet with
anybody who was singing with you.
So what's going on, Ali? What do you want to talk about?
What I want to ask is, are you single, Ash?
Oh, look at you!
Single? Why? What? I mean, you're in Oldham. It's a long way. I mean,
well,
are you
I'm
prepared to
willing
move
to
down to
travel,
London?
Mother.
It's very dangerous.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah, yeah.
Is
Probably
it
not as dangerous as
Oldham?
Newcastle.
I was in Oldham.
Oh yeah, Oldham. Yeah, it still says Newcastle.
And Ash will protect you.
It's all north.
Ash can protect you, Ali. So are you saying that because you're...
protect Ash.
Yeah,
you're
we
protect
probably
Ash.
would.
Are you single and ready to mingle with Ash?
Oh,
yeah. But she'll get rid of her boyfriend, so...
Oh, that'd be lovely, because I could do like Cinder. I could get the hat. I could get that out.
I'm gonna get a new hat.
This could be brilliant. Would you like that?
I think he's beautiful.
You think he's beautiful? Fantastic.
So does
I
my
presume
mum,
you're
yeah.
listening on the radio.
Ash, you really are beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, is that lovely? Are you single and ready to mingle?
Well, I used to live... I do visit Manchester every couple of years, so you never know. I'll give you a bell when I'm up there.
Well,
how good is this?
WhatsApped you, so give us a call, babe.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ali.
All right, Ash.
See you
I'm looking at
later.
you with a wink.
Yes, she said give us a wink. Anyway, let's make sense of all
Oh, it
this.
was a wink, was it?
Yeah. Well,
Yes, good.
Ken in London, let's make sense of everything. What's
Hello,
going on?
Ken.
It's all written. What's going on, Ken?
You're right now, Ash. You are right, my dear friend.
Thanks, man.
Things are happening exactly as Jesus and the Bible prophesied.
So you're a happy man then?
Very happy that Christ is coming. He's coming soon for his church in the rapture. Then he's coming to save Israel at Armageddon. Then he's coming to judge the world in righteousness and establish the kingdom of God on earth.
How long will that take? Is that by about 2035?
We don't know, Ash, but God gave us signs to look for, and the greatest sign we have right now is the miracle of Israel's birth in one day in 1948, prophesied in Ezekiel chapter 37.
Yeah. And then Jerusalem, of course, in the 60s.
Well, that's important, but the actual birth of Israel, rebirth of Israel.
1948, that was.
What are the other predictions to look forward to, Ken? What are the things we should look out for?
Give us some tasters.
And also give us a time frame, because you always say...
He can't do that.
But it's important, isn't it? Because you say, we've got all the signs, people are going to turn around, and it's great to have you on the show every time. You always talk about he's coming soon, but people are going to say, well, what does soon mean? And secondly, what are the signs they should be looking for?
Well, the time order for his return is that Jesus will come back to the earth when Israel is in the land. And until 1948, they were not in their own land.
Yeah, but they've been there for 80 years now, so isn't it about time?
We are now in the time when Messiah can return. But this is what the Bible says. This is what Jesus said. It's in Matthew chapter 24. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye are not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
But we've always had that. What's he saying about Iran? You know, Uri Geller was on with his premonitions about Iran. There's two ways it could go. What's going on with Iran? Is that part of the Bible prophecy, obviously, because they're trying to destroy Israel?
That's in Ezekiel 38 and 39. Iran, which is Persia in the Bible, and Andrew, Iran is going to unite in an alliance with Russia, Turkey, Libya, Ethiopia, possibly Syria and other Muslim nations to attack Israel. But that's not the last war. That will happen before Armageddon.
So Ken, just be clear on this. Is everything predetermined? Are we just passengers on this journey?
We are passengers, but God has given us a will to choose which way we will
You've got to accept Jesus. That's the main thing, isn't it?
You've got to repent of your sins to the God of the Bible and believe in his Son, Jesus the Messiah,
or you go
who
to hell.
died for our sins and rose from the dead and went back to heaven. This is just before before he was crucified. He told these things to the apostles. Well, listen, friends, I've been calling you up for a long, long time. I call up as a humble sinner saved by the grace of God, but I am so concerned that people are laughing
mocking and on the highway to hell.
What do you think about in Syria? There's all the Christians being murdered all over and it's not even being reported on the mainstream media. That's outrageous. There's thousands being killed in horrendous ways at the moment in Syria and in other places, and Druze, of course. What's your views on that, Ken, being a Christian?
Well, that's what Jesus said. This is, if they hated me, they will hate you. It was prophesied. The two most hated people on earth are the Jews and Christians. And before Jesus returns, the Bible says there will be a tremendous upsurge in hatred and persecution of Christians and Jews. This is all taking shape. Yeah. And there's another interesting thing we need to take heed to. Have you noticed the number of earthquakes which are being reported in the past number of years?
Well, they always go on earthquakes, don't they?
Yeah, but there's been a tremendous increase. Keep your eyes, when you see earthquakes, just remember that's one of the main signs that there will be an increase in earthquakes.
I've not seen a lot more earthquakes. Anyway,
Japan have loads all the time. Ken, it's always interesting to hear you.
Thanks, Ken.
Listen, gentlemen.
One more, go on then. What? Go on.
Before you go.
Yeah, all right.
Make sure you don't end up in hell, Andrew and Ash, and all your listeners and viewers. This is not a joke.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just to advise you all, please make sure you don't end up in hell. Thanks, Ken. Let's talk to Ian in Arachar in Scotland.
Oh, you did that very well. Ian, hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. Ian.
Hello and good morning. Thanks for having me on. Now, I want to talk about something completely different, and that's the English local government elections in May.
Yeah, which apparently Reform would have won, but they're not because they got cancelled because of gerrymandering and the lack of democracy that's been stolen from us.
It could actually be the best thing if they came in second, in my opinion. You know, I think if they were to win these elections, it would look like we've been here before, either with UKIP or with Labour under Neil Kinnock and Labour under Michael Foot even, and that they'd be too soon. You know, if they
so they'd be seen as just a protest party, not a party of government, is what
you're saying? No. What I'm saying is the best thing that could happen for them is for Labour to actually just come out on top in terms of the vote, Reform to come second, and the Tories to be just in third. Because I think if that happens in England, then you will find Tories, both elected Tories and unelected Tories, coming over in droves to Reform UK, sensing that Labour can be defeated.
Yeah. That's one of the possibilities, isn't it? They come over to the Reform. Although with the Rupert Lowe and the Nigel Farage bust up.
Although apparently Anne Widdecombe said today they're meeting, so I hope they can sort it out.
I think that sort of thing is going to be forgotten about, you know, in years to come. We've still got another 4 years, so I think we're going to go for an election in 2029. I can't see Keir Starmer wanting Nigel Farage to be able to parade about the White House with his busy mate in the run-up to a 2028 election. But in 2029, Donald Trump will be gone from the White House.
That's right. But it'll probably be J.D. Vance coming in, who looks a bit like Benny Hill.
What's the thing,
with
Jim?
eyeliner? Does he have eyeliner on?
He
should have a little bald guy next to him that he does that to as his vice president.
That wonderful theme tune.
Yeah.
I think getting back to the English local government.
Yes, get back to it.
Sorry, yeah.
If the Tories were to come second, then it's worse for Reform UK. Maybe this bust-up, so to speak, will have something to do with that.
Right.
But
So you're saying, just to be clear, you're saying the reason you want them to come second is a wake-up call for them, so that they basically say, defect to one side or the other, unite the right.
Basically, what I want, I won't have a vote in these elections.
Were you a Tory voter? And if so, are you disappointed that they sort of basically did what Labour were doing and have ruined this country permanently?
In the past, I have voted Tory, and I think if it had been a Scottish Parliament election, I would vote Tory, because I think we need as many unionists, genuine unionists in the Scottish Parliament as possible. Yeah. And at least that is one thing you can take for the Tories. They do stand up for it. They do actually believe in it.
Yeah.
But it's this huge majority that Labour has got that looks into...
And that's why we can't have a split in the right, or they'll just get it. That's how they got in anyway, which is ridiculous.
Well,
anyway...
They only got 35% of the votes, and if they come down...
1 in 5 of the voters voted for Labour, and that's our government. So, you know, they've really got a mandate.
No, you're right, but the biggest winner is always apathy, and it's the point that Jess was making about her sister. Doesn't even know who these politicians are, doesn't really care.
But you can't blame them, because they're disengaged, because there's no real democracy.
Absolutely. And this is what you need to do. You need to rebuild trust in politicians, and you need to
trust comes in on foot and leaves on horseback. Anyway, thanks, Ian.
Thank you. Good to hear from you.
Here's a message from Rachel. What really upsets me as a Christian is that lots of Christians are being murdered, slaughtered in horrendous ways in Syria, yet Starmer has just given their government £50 million. Why are they... Did you see Alistair Campbell and Rod Stewart? Not Rod Stewart. Rory Stewart, his real name is actually Rod Stewart. We're all brown-nosing the Syrian murdering ISIS leader, and they're going around slaughtering people in the streets, torturing them and killing whole families in their front rooms, and it's not even getting on the BBC.
And this is what I love.
Horrendous.
We've got to keep shining a spotlight on this sort of stuff. But you make a
Sunlight's the best disinfectant.
It is indeed. Yeah. We've got all the big good things today. But the other point, we were talking about this earlier, is charity begins at home. We've got so many issues
we haven't got that one
here, but it's true. We've got so many issues here. We need to sort out. We need to focus on that. And that's what the appeal was for Trump when he's turning around and saying, I'm going to stop paying for Ukraine because I'm going to pay for all this stuff first of all.
But we can't afford to look after our ex-soldiers, and we've got to let them free. So that's because we've got to give them tennis lessons. The people on the boats have got to have their tennis lessons and mobile phones and pizzas.
It's wrong.
Graham in West London. This guy's really sensible.
Hello,
I think
Graham.
he did the duet last week. What's going on, Graham?
Oh, ashes are king, hallelujah. Oh, ashes are God. That's incredible. Ashes are royalty. Hallelujah.
You're listening to Talk TV. It's the James Wells Show. It's me and Andrew Eborn. We'll be back
Holy Wheeler.
after this.
Ashes are leader. Oh, ashes are power. Oh, ashes the best. Ashes the greatest. Oh.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's the James Wells Show, but he's gone home. But he'll be back next week at 10 p.m. So it's me and Andrew Eborn. But give us a call. We're going to do your calls. We're going to go through the papers and some funny stories. 0344 499 1000. Gigi's texted us tennis lessons to FFS. I don't know what that means. But yeah, we're paying thousands and hundreds of thousands on tennis lessons. So do you think we should give migrants tennis lessons, driving lessons, while we let our poor freeze?
Love all.
And, you know, they really are. If you're... zoo tickets, you can go to the zoo. You know how much a zoo is? I went to Whipsnade about 10 years ago. It cost 40 quid with my girlfriend and a car. They charge.
You can't have a girlfriend, you're going to upset Ali.
The monkeys rip your bloody car apart.
They do. They used to do that round...
free bus travel, yeah, in London, free travel cards.
You have to look after the people at home first. It's outrageous that you're not doing that.
They hate our people, the people here. Anyway, Tony, give us a ring, 0344 499 1000, and we will get you on. Tony in Lancashire.
Hello, Tony.
Good evening, Ash and Andrew. How are you? It's been good, actually. I love this show.
Thank you. It's lovely to hear from you.
To miss it. I watch it every weekend. Anyway, just great. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah. How about stop giving benefits to these illegals? What's jumping the queue and stuff like that?
But they need tennis lessons, don't they? If they're going to,
They don't need tennis lessons. Where do they need tennis lessons?
Because they're rubbish at tennis.
What would you do? What's the solution?
What would you do?
And we need to stop paying them 6.6 billion for driving lessons and everything. 6.6 billion we spend on them.
Well, probably more than that. That's just the accommodation. You know, you're forgetting the lawyers. You're forgetting all the other perks they get. I'm sure it's a lot more. They would be doing it. And also, they won't show us the crime figures. We saw crime figures recently, the arrests of people, and they far outweigh proportionately sexual offences. It's unbelievable, and yet they're trying to ignore it. But if we look at Europe, where they are releasing the figures, and obviously it'll be replicated here, probably worse, we can see the problems.
What would you do?
Well, I'd get rid of the quango. Stop giving benefits to these illegals. I won't give them 6.6 billion for starters. There's some money. How about all these the Labour Party like Rachel Thieves, Stormy Gear, Ed Miliband, Sadiq Khan, Angela Weaver? How about them take a pay cut and stop getting expenses? You know, they're dating on old pensioners and stuff like that. How about them lot take
Well,
a
I
pay
think they're all
cut?
filling their boots, aren't they? Because they're only in for a short time. They don't really care about the country in the long run. I mean, Starmer said it when he was asked, do you prefer Davos or Westminster? And he actually answered Davos.
He did. He loves the
head of the Daleks.
The thing is, they all should be sat for lying.
No, you make such a good point. And I think this is the thing. And if you were Prime Minister and you looked at how am I going to spend the money? Am I going to spend it at the people at home, the people the pensioners who are freezing in their home?
Of course. Thanks, Tony. Let's
Well
go.
done. Great call.
03444991000. Give us a call. We'll call you back. Dominic in Nottingham.
Hello,
What do
Dominic.
you want to say, Dominic?
Yeah, how's it going? That's all right. Is it James as well? Andrew, that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, I was just phoning up about Farage, you know. I think Rupert Lowe should have shut his mouth.
You think what, sorry?
I said I think Rupert Lowe should have shut his mouth and dealt with it behind the scenes.
Oh, no, well, he's tried to, hasn't he?
He tried to, you know, I thought that...
He wrote a letter.
I don't know. I think he was just, his ego was just... Same with Benabib. He was always on the sideline.
Well, he wanted to democratise the party. That was what he says. But,
Yeah,
I mean...
I'm not no Farage fanboy.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's what options we got?
Well, don't you want mass deportations? Don't you want mass deportations?
We've got you first. Lib Dems are like absolutely perfect.
Well, cool, but don't you want mass deportations of people who are illegal and are
can't do it, can you?
Why not? America are doing it. Why can't you do it? Put them on a plane, bye-bye. Why can't you do it?
Well, because the law's been enshrined into the...
We get rid of that law, obviously, get rid of the ECHR, and then cheerio, off you go. Why can't we do that?
You do that. Yeah, but you're not just going to be able to get into power and then just get rid of everybody.
Why not? That's what Trump's done.
Like that.
That's what Trump did.
The other point, and it's really interesting here. It's really interesting hearing your view. The other point as well, though, is if you have a really tough policy, it tells people it's not a good idea to come. Because the message at the moment is all about, oh, we look after you, we give you these tennis lessons, we'll take you to the zoo and so on.
Why
and so
wouldn't
forth.
you? Even if you weren't going to come here, you'll come here anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree with that. I think, in my opinion, you should just take them straight back to France.
There you go. So there's a solution.
Or I would just put them in a...
Screw him, you know what I mean?
I would just lock them up and say, you can find another country or you stay in there, but you're not coming in our society if you're going to commit crimes or are illegal.
Yeah.
Tougher rules are a deterrent, is the point.
But the problem is, but this is what I'm saying, the problem is, by law, because it's been enshrined because of Tony Blair, it's like, what was his name? David Starkey. I seen him say something. And he said, the only way you're going to be able to leave the ECHR is to reverse every single thing.
Yeah, repeal what they call reform. We can do that very easily. You reform back to 97 and build up from there.
You're going to have to reverse it all the way back to 1997.
So, we'll do that.
But change depends on one thing, and it's the willingness to accept that change. There are ways to do it. What you have to do is lead from the top. What Trump is doing is leading from the top. He's got very strict policies. It's having an effect on immigration. They're turning around and saying, well, hang on, we better not risk it because we're going to be sent straight back again. Yeah. That's the message we need to do.
And lose thousands of pounds.
Yeah, but Trump's got the powers to do that.
Well, so would our Prime Minister.
Like whoever's Prime Minister ain't got the power to do that.
They have. Starmer could do what he wants. He's got 400 odd MPs. He could do what he wants.
In that way, but he's going to have to take it through Parliament, so he can do it that way. I understand that. But the presidency is a completely different matter. Yeah. He can just sign an executive order and it's done.
Yeah, but Starmer can just whip his MPs and say vote for this or you're out.
Okay, let's assume, just to be clear on this though, if he had the power, and Ash and I say they can get it, if he had the power, should he do it?
Say again.
If he had the power to do it, to have this absolute concrete policy, you come here, you get sent back. If you come here illegally, you don't get all these benefits. We stop making it attractive. If he had that power, and Ash and I said he could have it, should he do it?
Yes.
There you go. There's the answer.
Thanks, Dominic.
Brilliant
Let's go from Nottingham. Well, we've got Josh in Cambridge, then we're going back to Nottingham. Let's talk to Josh.
Hello, Josh in
Cambridge.
He's
a brand new caller.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not. I've spoke earlier with James earlier. I'm sorry.
We thought you were earlier.
Yeah. But you've got more to say, haven't you? You got more to get off your chests.
Brand new in this hour.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Do you know, I'm just going on from Tony's conversation about illegal immigration. Yes. You know, there's one deterrent I do personally believe. I mean, maybe you think it's quite cool. I don't. Right. If you turn up in this country as an illegal immigrant, our army's depleted. You do 5 years in the military if you want to stay.
We don't want people in the army who might be the enemy of the country.
No. You don't go to. They don't have to go to war because of human rights. That's fine. But you want your 3 meals a day. There's cleaning. There's cooking.
But we don't want people who won't accept British culture here anyway. Shouldn't we just?
It's an interesting view, but we've got people here who are unemployed who should be doing similar sort of jobs or encouraging people back into the workforce. You make a very interesting point. But are you saying that because you want it as a deterrent, or you want to turn around and make sure they're paying for all these zoo trips and everything else in a different way?
Basically, in my eyes, our army's depleted. Okay, we have our top military, our top soldiers. That's fantastic. They need help. And it's just running the day-to-day, everyday jobs, correct? Right, if you want to come to this country illegally and you want to stay, one, it works as a deterrent, and secondly, you want to come here illegally. I have no problem coming here legally. Okay?
Well, they got rid of that because there was a law brought in saying if you come here illegally, you immediately will not get given, citizenship. You won't be allowed. They reversed that law.
Well, right now, you come here illegally, you're put in a hotel. Okay.
Well, you get looked after better than our own citizens.
Yeah, and I think we all agree that's wrong. But your suggestion is yours is a sort of halfway house, isn't it?
Right. So if you come in here illegally, you want your 3 meals a day, you're going to get run by a drill sergeant. You need to wash this, you need to cook this, you need to clean that, you need to do this, and it helps out.
Well, they won't want to come then, which is the best thing about that.
If that's a deterrent, I think that...
Win-win.
I think just ban them from getting here and lock them up and say, well, you can find another country to go to or you stay in prison.
It's an interesting view, thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Let's go to Pat in Nottingham.
Hello, Pat.
Patrick? Has he gone?
In Nottingham, there we are. They're busy fighting off the... here he is. Hurrah, hello.
Hey, Pat?
Listen, Jess Gill, that lady you had on earlier.
Yeah.
Now, it was quite engaging. I was listening to all three of you.
Yeah.
But, she sounded a little bit like a female Nigel Farage.
A female Nigel Farage?
She was actually with Rupert Lowe more, I thought.
Negative things to say about Tommy Robinson, that she don't agree with some things he says.
Yeah, but she was pro-Rupert Lowe. She was pro-Rupert Lowe, wasn't she? She wasn't...
Robinson said that's wrong, All he's doing is a journalist, just like your lot.
All right, well, look, but we're mainly talking about reform, and that was not really about that. It was about Rupert Lowe. But anyway, thanks, Patrick. 03444991000. We'll give you a call back. You can WhatsApp us on that same number with a voice message. And it's me and Andrew Ebon on the James Wells Show, who's gone, but he'll be back next week at 10, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk, James Wells Show, but it's me and Andrew Eborn. He'll be back next week. 03444991000. Ali says, thanks for talking to me, although Andrew looked more interested than you.
No, I'm very taken, thank you. But I was also going to text saying, can you get Ash to smile, is what we said.
I do smile. What's to smile about?
You've got to smile. And we got the Uri Geller thing, that was good.
Can you do it? Oh, he's done it, look! He's bent a spoon. If you're listening on the radio, he's holding a bent spoon.
It's got to be good.
But he is part of the magic circle, whereas Yuri uses the powers of the mind.
He uses the power of his mind, and it's very... I love it. Well, lovely to hear Yuri, as always. It's always a delight.
He has a magic video, Andrew, on eBay available.
The
It's
Art of
from
Magic
the
with Andrew
80s.
Eborn. It's got to be good.
He is in the magic circle.
Yes.
It's on VHS, so get your old video recorder out.
VHS.
Have you got it on Betamax?
I've got it on Betamax.
A Laserdisc.
Absolutely. Every ModCon. More platforms than Paddington. It's got to be good.
Excellent. Well, let's talk to... we're going to do some more papers in a minute. Let's talk to John in Sutton.
Hello, John.
Is that Sutton, Surrey, isn't it, yeah?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So what's
up,
John?
about Yuri Geller, what he said earlier, that's what I called in to talk about.
About Iran and...
good timing with Yuri Geller, wasn't it? Yeah.
Synchronicity.
Hey,
Sorry, what is it? What's
up
then, John? What are you going to say about it?
Well, I think he should be taken very, very seriously because Iran have launched 2 missile attacks on Israel.
Yeah.
And what they were probing attacks.
Yeah, they were testing out,
They certainly have, and they found that they can get the odd one through.
Yeah.
And all they need to do now is get a nuclear warhead.
Yeah, and they've said Netanyahu said they're months away from it, or maybe even less, but they've been on the case, and I'm sure Trump and Netanyahu, I'm sure they're looking at Iran, but yeah, it is a big worry, because that is where... the World War III could begin and end in about 10 minutes.
And they've got those 2 British hostages as well.
Yeah, they took them recently, didn't they?
They did. I know people in the family.
Oh,
so it's very close on that sort of stuff. And they always say you've got to make sure it's in the spotlight, because otherwise people get forgotten. So it's such an important point. We should go in with our eyes open, be very, very aware of what's happening.
And don't visit Iran. These people went to Pakistan and then they went to Iran. They go, we know it's dangerous, but we'll be all right. And they're not all right. They've now been basically kidnapped and being held as hostages. And we saw what happened to our friend Nazanin Zaghari, what happened to her for many years, and, also Terry Waite in Lebanon. So anyway, John, so what do you think we should do? You think we should go in? I mean, the Iranian people want to overthrow the government. The majority of people do, but they're subjugated. They are very weak, the IRGC and the Iranian, the Ayatollahs.
What should we do? What should we do?
That's what I was going to say.
Well, if they do attack their nuclear facilities, that might trigger the insurrection, you see?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what I think.
Well, Netanyahu did a speech to the Iranian people, basically saying, look, if you do it, we'll back you up. But it seems that they're still not quite there yet, but they need to.
Well, you see, Ash, what people don't realise is that day and night, all Iran think about is retaking or capturing Jerusalem. They think it is their religious duty to do it.
Yeah, but if they nuke it, they ain't going to get it. They're like a big suicide bomber, aren't they, basically, the government? They don't mind doing it for religious reasons. We all go up in a fireball of radiation.
Well, that's what I mean. They would rather destroy it than let the Jews have it. They are so zealous.
Yeah.
It is.
They love death more than we love life.
And it's so important to keep calling it out. What, though, and we always go back to this point, what is the solution?
Well, to neutralise the threat, like
the nuclear facilities,
yeah, definitely.
I think they're on the case. I mean, they are already on the case that we don't hear about, but often the nuclear scientists are getting bumped off all the time. You know, they are. I mean, they are being watched very carefully, but it is a worry. I mean, it happened in Iraq. When Iraq were getting close to it, Israel went and bombed that and, sent it. And we sent over a little virus with Israel and America that basically made their centrifuges spin out of control and destroyed it all just through, so there's a lot of online internet and also if it's offline, they get a little dongle in. That's how they did that with the... So, they are on the case. Anyway, thanks, John.
Thanks.
0344 499 1000 to get on. Let's go to Graham in Norwich.
Hi, Graham.
Hello, how you doing? You all right?
We're all right, man.
I've got a little question to ask you. Right, when the migrants, they come over and they get little treats,
tennis
like a football games,
driving lessons,
Yeah, driving lessons. What are friendship services?
I don't know what are.
Well, I don't know. It depends on which phone booth you look at for.
Well, it just sounds a little bit suspicious to me.
Well, I was going to say, absolutely.
The friendship service. I mean, so they're planning to take money off the disabled to give migrants.
Well, I mean, that's effectively what it's all a big pot, isn't it? And you're paying 6.6 billion, probably a lot more than that.
And you hear about a million being lost in a million to have disability benefit cuts by Labour. And I always say you need to put these in perspective. You need to still work out where's the money going. If it's going on illegal migrants, when it could be going on those who need it, that's wrong.
Well, that
isn't it?
6.6 billion could stop the pensioners freezing for a start by March.
Yeah, but it's specifically friendship services sound a little bit suspicious.
Well, what do you think it is?
Well, it sounds a bit something like the Cray twins would do, extorting money off poor people so they could provide friendship services.
It does sound a bit 1984, doesn't it? Everything's starting to sound a bit 1984.
Yes.
It just sounds a little bit suspicious, that's all. I just think...
No, good point.
Thanks, Graham. Let's go to Leslie in Wellingborough.
Hello, Leslie.
Hello, Ash and Andrew.
Good to hear from you.
What's up,
man?
man?
Thanks for listening to me.
That's all right.
Go for it.
I was going to talk about Uri Geller.
Yes.
Right, I mean, it has been known if Iran gets nuclear, then Israel will destroy all Iranian nuclear installation, and that has been said.
Well, it would of course
but he was quite frightening, and that was the trouble.
Well, he had a premonition, he had a vision, and he saw a good one and he saw a bad one, and he was basically imploring us, Trump and, Israel to do something, but he didn't seem to know what, I mean, Netanyahu, they're on the case, so hopefully they will do.
What would you do?
Me?
Yes.
What's that? I can't see.
Say you're the President of the States, President Leslie. What's your next move?
Go on then.
What would I do against Iran?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, we know, Ash, you know a lot about Israel, and he said that, didn't he? He said in his mind he wants to eliminate all Jews, doesn't he? I mean, that's never changed.
Eliminate Israel, yeah. And Jews,
Israel,
and Jews. Well, if the BBC, they say Israel, even if they say Jews,
I mean, what can you do with somebody like that? And I wouldn't know what to do with him.
Well, you've got to basically destroy. You've got to destroy the nuclear facilities.
And
they won't.
This is the problem. That people need to find a solution. We always sort of focus on the same rhetoric, and it's absolutely right to shine a spotlight on the horrors, and they are horrors going on in the world. But we need to find, even with the horrible people in this world, some sort of solution.
Yeah, but you can't, because they'll just lie to you and say, yeah, don't worry, we'll do this, and then they secretly are doing, obviously, setting up nuclear weaponry.
But there are people in power at the moment who are trying to find that solution. I told you beforehand that Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize, and if he could, well, he wants it.
Obama got it. He did the Abraham Accords, and then, of course, Biden then wound it down a bit.
To be honest,
he wants a statue. You saw that video about Gaza. What did you think of that?
Gaza. Well, are we talking about what Trump said, that he would like to build Gaza back again?
He wants Gaza Riviera, and you saw that AI video he reposted.
Trump Gaza.
With a golden statue of Trump and Elon there eating hummus.
I just now, not long ago, that Putin is going on about Greenland. He doesn't want America to be taking over Greenland.
Yeah, well, Greenland, that's interesting.
He wants a new canal, doesn't he?
He does.
Through it, doesn't he?
Yes.
So, you know.
I'm not sure it's that shape, but yeah.
Yeah, it'd be about like sort of, if it's in Greenland, it's going to be maybe that shape. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, it's like those red lines he goes on about.
Yes.
We all know that he wants to keep what he's already got. It's going to be very difficult with his talks, isn't it?
Well, they are difficult, and Trump is saying how difficult. He's very good at playing that out in the media. I do think conversations are they are happening behind the scenes. It's all about this 30-day ceasefire, and what Putin's saying is that we don't want them to rearm, but we want to try and make sure that happens. We need to get the children back to Ukraine. That needs to happen, and certain other things as well. It's a fascinating call. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
both.
Pat in Nottingham, Patrick Nottingham, you're on talk. What do you want to say? Pat.
Well, Pat was in before, and he was very quiet last time. He's back.
I'm
Hello.
a big fan of Trump.
Yeah. All right, Pat.
They're just on a high. America's on a high.
You're
It's
high.
on a big high. I wish I was in the US of A right now.
Oh, why? Why do you want to be there?
Because it's freedom. You know,
There's freedom.
we're oppressed over here, aren't we?
What's going on in Nottingham, Pat? Have you been drinking? Are you drunk?
I've had a couple of glasses of Grandpa's cough medicine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had more than a couple,
eh?
Yeah.
I'm looking at you guys, looking smart.
Thanks,
in
man.
Suits
Yeah.
And we're putting the world to right.
Yeah, that's
Good.
right.
That and the other.
Who's we? Who's with you, Pat?
This is like loose men. We
It is. We love this.
It's all chill out. It's
Who's
all
with you, Pat?
Who's with you? Who's with you in the room drinking cough mixture?
I'm on my Todd.
You can just see other people in the room because you've drank that much.
I'm with you guys, Honor. I'm looking at you.
Oh, I see what you mean. We're
see,
together.
Like, we're like your mates in the lounge.
Yes.
Can I have what you're having?
I don't think there's any left.
Yeah, he's had it.
I've had a couple of sips of
couple of bottles of that.
Tell us about Nottingham. What's happening on the high streets?
We love Nottingham.
But what's going on the streets of Nottingham?
It's full of fun. Oh, Nottingham. But let's talk about current affairs.
Go on then.
Yeah, current affairs.
Let's put the world to right.
Yes, please.
Well, go on then. Start then. Start.
UK Talk TV does, isn't it?
What's that?
This is what UK Talk TV does, doesn't it?
Yes.
We'll start it. We're all lads in a room. Start the common.
Tell us how to solve the world.
Yeah,
Go for it.
current affairs. Come on.
I'm not happy. I'm depressed actually. Okay. I'm a bit depressed because I mean, you got Talk TV is my go-to, Fox TV with the US of it, and there's a lot of like media outlets and all this sort of stuff, but you have to filter it all, you know, and it is very depressing. The current our country is just lost.
And what do you do? Do you work, Patrick? Or do you just drink cough mixture?
I'm
a scaffolder.
I pay my taxes.
Yeah. That's a tough job.
Do you still wolf whistle? Do you still wolf whistle? Because that's probably that's illegal now. Yeah, but we'll bring it back when.
I did until I got a couple of. I had some dental work. I used to be able
Someone
to
smashed your teeth in.
without my fingers. But I had some dental work done.
And you can't whistle.
And I can't whistle anymore.
Why don't you buy a referee's whistle? The Acme, what do you call it? It's actually made in West Bromwich.
There you go, not so far.
One of our biggest exports.
I should do that.
Can you try? Can we hear you whistle now that you can do it without your teeth?
There you go. I'll get it.
Go on then. Give action at
Here's
wolf whistle.
Patrick's wolf whistle.
And who's that? James. Who's that with that tie on next to you? What's his name?
Andrew. Give him a wolf whistle.
Andrew.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Love to meet you as well.
You're looking dapper.
Can we have the wolf whistle with no teeth, please, Patrick, so we can decide?
Give us a wolf whistle, then.
I've got my turkey teeth in. I've got my turkey teeth in.
Do the wolf whistle.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, you got to get those teeth put in, but you can't because.
You can't.
How did your teeth fall out? Did a scaffolding or something, or someone?
Yeah, I'm a hairy arse scaffolder.
Hairy arse scaffolder.
You mentioned you have Turkish teeth, is that right? Did you go to Turkey?
Turkey teeth.
You got me to. Well, it's a crown. It's not the implants and all that.
Right.
Turkey is a big country, isn't it?
That's huge. But did you actually have your teeth done in
Didn't you
Turkey?
ask them when they put the teeth in to add the whistle because you're a scaffolder?
Or maybe they're actually turkey teeth.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like hen's teeth.
Can you
They're very
gobble?
rare.
Can you gobble?
Let's get to important.
It's not that sort of a show.
It can be.
Let's not bore your listeners.
We're not bored.
No,
we're really
fascinated.
excited by your call.
What due to James and sorry, I forget your name.
Andrew. I forget it sometimes.
What do you reckon to Keir Starmer?
Oh, he's brilliant. We love him, don't we?
Yeah,
no, what do you reckon to Keir Starmer?
Don't think he likes him.
Do you like him?
I'm not warm. I'm not warm to him, you know, because he
Yes.
stole off the pensioners.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've got to have tennis lessons. The guys coming in illegally, haven't they? And driving lessons. So someone's got to pay for it.
Start off on the right foot, him in his car, and to be fair, the Tories, the Conservatives, was just not interested in winning that election.
No, they weren't.
You know,
they threw it away. I know why Rishi Sunak brought it in that early.
To be fair, Sunak come on strong when they lost.
Yeah, when he was in, when he gone, it was all bluster and no. Anyway, Dominic, pour me a double coffee mixture. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Dominic.
Let's go back to Nottingham. And was that Dominic or Patrick? That was Patrick. Let's go to Dominic in Nottingham.
Hello, Dominic.
Do you know him? Do you see him down the Market Square?
That toss the one from Nottingham.
Patrick!
Are
you still talking to... Do you know Dominic from in the Market Square? Dominic, talk to Patrick. Have some coffee mixture. Have a chat. Let's let them chat a bit.
You're
joining us live as Nottingham does whatever.
I've got Tourette syndrome, so... blah, blah.
Is that Dominic?
Tripping it. Well, you got him. Who's Andrew, anyway?
I still ask myself that question, but I don't live in Nottingham. We're listening live here on talkTV.
Dominic,
we're listening to Nottingham.
Talk to Patrick about Nottingham and what's going on there.
This could be the new EastEnders. I love it.
It's like Nottingham.
Go for it.
It's pretty boring and terrible.
Oh, is it?
You know what I mean?
What's the best thing about Nottingham?
Trust me.
You sound depressed. Are you drinking enough coffee mixture?
You got 4 women to 1 man.
4 women to 1 man.
What's wrong with you?
You know what I mean?
And you do lace making, don't you? And Robin Hood.
Yes.
Without swearing, it's a depressing dump.
What's the best thing about it, though?
What do you mean? Nothing.
The Torvill and Dean Airport.
There you go.
No, is it Robin?
There's nothing good about this place anymore. The old place is an absolutely depressing asshole. You know what I mean?
Carry on, please.
Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Pat.
If you've just joined us, these are 2 guys from Nottingham who are very depressed at being in Nottingham. Let's listen to what they're saying.
Nottingham are you from?
What, say again?
I'm up in Mapley. I'm up in Mapley.
Oh, you live in Mapley? I used to live in Mapley. I used to live on Woodbury Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I'm not in the Mapley Hospital.
Yeah, I'm in
the
Bulwark.
You're in Bulwark?
Yeah, I'm an outpatient.
There should be a theme tune like EastEnders, shouldn't there? I think this is
in Mapley Hospital.
Nottingham.
Yeah,
Dominic, what do you reckon? James.
All right, everyone, stop. Right, what's? I want one thing that's positive about.
Yes, let's
stop. What's the one thing from either of you, Dominic? What's one good thing about Nottingham?
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest. Okay, good. Patrick. What's the one thing good about Nottingham?
Don't say county.
It's the one good thing.
What is?
Forest.
It'd be Nottingham Forest.
Both
Forest, brilliant. Nottingham Forest, but you haven't got Brian Clough anymore. Anyway, we've got to take a little break here.
Nottingham and the Merry Men. That was
great
good.
information about Nottingham. Give us a ring, 03444 991 1000. We'll be back with John and Leslie and your calls as well after this.
Fantastic. Looking forward.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
James Wales Show. It's me and Andrew Eborn. James has gone 03444991000. We'll take your calls the last few minutes, but we've got a voice message, and it's from Ali.
My answer to everything is, in the end, why don't everybody just make love and be peaceful instead of war?
Mate.
All we are saying is give peace a chance.
What a brilliant message. We want war, not war. I love it.
Actually, Gail Reynard, who used to work here, she went to the Love-In where John Lennon was. She was 15 in Montreal. And John Lennon...
The bed and everything?
Yeah, and John Lennon gave her the give peace, because, you know, he held up a big sheet for her. He gave it to her at the end, and she had it in her house in Hampstead.
Oh, how brilliant.
And there was a flood, and it nearly got damaged, and she thought, oh, it's a bit... And she put it in Chris's, got about £500,000 for it.
Wow, and there's footage of her there, is there?
Yeah, there's a whole... Because what happened was she was like 15 in Montreal, and she snuck into the hotel, and security grabbed her. But then John Lennon came out the door and went, it's all right, let her in. And anyway, so she went home every day, and her mother called up. Apparently John Lennon said, you make sure you don't do any of those... Oh, she's Canadian. Make sure you don't do any of those drugs and rock and roll. And said, don't worry, Mrs. Gale. And she came every day, and then at the end, John Lennon gave her a phone number.
Yes.
And the big sheet of Give Peace a Chance that she sold.
Brilliant.
I think she wrote a book about it. But what an amazing... A whole book on... Well, I suppose it was an amazing story, wasn't it? I mean, but they didn't really cause world peace by just lying in bed.
No, but they made people think about it. It's a war, not war.
I mean, imagine if John Lennon now, what would he be saying? Oh, Ali's on the line now.
Hello, Ali.
From her voicemail.
Hello, have I got through already?
I mean, we have got other calls, but they put you through. What is it, Ali? And you're not finished.
No, I'm being serious now, Ash and Andrew. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Right, what I want to talk about. I went to see my best friend this year. Well, no, it was last year for a month in America.
Yeah.
Now, I was supposed to go back this year.
Where in America was it?
It was New York. It was Babylon.
Yeah, because it's bad out there, wasn't it? With all the hotels. They've got the same problems here and all the crime. And
I was supposed to go back this year, and my best friend, who's ex-military, she's actually told me, no, I don't want you coming over this year.
What, does she not like you anymore?
Probably. No, she's the bestest friend in the world.
But what, because it's dangerous or something?
Yeah, because she's that concerned. She is that concerned.
Because apparently it has gone back to pre-Giuliani and it's all horrendous. Well, it will be out
there. So what are they really concerned about? What's the biggest concern?
To be fair, I don't know, because she's cleverer than me. I'm thick as shit.
You don't sound...
But did you not ask her why?
Yeah.
Well, I spoke to her, and she won't say. She will not say over the phone, and she will not say over
I know, but she should do, because the biggest problem is that fear is our biggest immobiliser. We're so scared of
it. It comes in
everything.
on foot and leaves on horseback.
That's trust. But it is. And this is what they say. The father of PR, Edward Bernays, said, you want to persuade somebody of anything, it's through fear. But people need to ask why. And she's your best friend. She should ask her why, and we could address it.
I know, but I think she's frightened to say over the internet.
She's
really? So they're actually... It's like here, people are scared to say things here because they end up in the slammer. I mean, they're apparently They're apparently clearing the prisons out so they can put people who are just speaking sense in.
No.
Absolutely. I think, like, they're picking up on internet of, like, phrases that are spoken and they're clocking it.
Yeah. Well, now we've lost Apple end-to-end encryption because the government have brought in laws,
dangerous.
which is really dangerous because hackers and the Russian state, everyone can get into our stuff now.
Big mistake.
I mean, what's your view on that?
It's a big mistake.
Yeah.
What's that, sorry? What did you say, Ali?
So what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah, it does,
totally. Totally makes sense. But you should ask your friend.
You can still go and visit, though.
Come on the phone next week as well. Ask your friend specifically. Maybe we can get her on as well.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Ask her specifically what the problem is. Because I reckon if we talk things through, I always make the point, we've got the best audience, most intelligent audience in the world, and people treat them like idiots. We need to give people the facts so they can make decisions. Is that fair?
It's absolutely fair, but she couldn't explain to me. She was very...
She'll explain to me. We'll get her on. Ash and I will...
We'll give us her number and we'll get her. Thanks, Ali, anyway, for calling in. Let's go to John in Lincoln.
Hi, John.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Are you driving?
Yeah, he's driving. That sounds like the M6.
Well, near enough. I'm on the hands-free with you guys.
Yes, nothing illegal.
I'm on the way back to Lincoln for the M180.
Beautiful.
Basically, I just wanted to ring up. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Welcome.
Now, I've got a massive issue. Like, I need to get off my chest here. Yeah. And the problem is, right, I come to work, I'm working 60, 70 hours plus a week, right? My boss is telling me that I need to work more. I look at my pay slip, and, you know, we've got a three-bed semi, me and my missus, and we can pay the bills. We're not, you know, rock star wages or anything like that, you know, but we're getting by. And the more and more I look at things and the more and more I think about things with regards to getting old in retirement, having a pension.
Yeah.
You know, the government's introduced this private pension that we pay into, which is, you know, very good and whatever else, but it's another cost that comes out of your pay packet at the end of the month. The cost of food and everything else is rising.
I know. Even in like a few weeks, things are going up 30% lately. Have you noticed?
Honestly, I'm partial to a bit of chocolate. And last week, I swear I went into the shop and bought a bar of Galaxy for £1.25.
Yeah. And the bag of eggs is just under a £5. They were talking about that the other day.
Well, you have very posh eggs, don't you? You have those, what are they called?
Golden goose.
Yeah.
I suppose the point I'm trying to get to...
Yes.
Is we've got no money, basically, is what you're saying. You're working all the hours and you literally can basically just about live.
And it's how that money's spent, yes?
And soon,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the other issue is, with the mortgage, I'm going to be paying that mortgage off. Come 65, when it's time to retire, the state pension isn't going to be enough to live on.
Yeah.
This private pension probably won't be worth anything because the government will have cocked it up somehow, like they did back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I'll end up selling a house.
Which will be worth sod all then, because probably property's going to crash.
And you're absolutely, and it's even worse than that because when you go to the other place and no longer here, you then have your family have to pay inheritance tax on whatever you've got left.
Exactly.
So what are you thinking of doing? How old are you now, John? What, 40, 50-ish or something?
I'm 38.
38.
God, he even sounds much older. It's aging him. So what are you thinking of doing? Because you're still young enough to actually change and maybe leave the country.
Well, to be honest with you, I have no idea. I mean, everyone turns around to me and says, "Oh, you're depressed," and you know the way you're talking and this, that, and the other. But like I say, when you actually sit and think about things, you're working till the day you die.
Yeah.
You've got to work till the day you die to pay for yourself.
And it's got to be wrong. So
I'm all for paying for myself.
You must be very frustrated. You must be very frustrated when you see that your hard-earned money and what's going in taxes is being spent on tennis lessons and taking people to the zoo.
Driving lessons on the people who aren't British.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
There was a hotel, a really run-down hotel.
Yes.
I'm not going to name it, but it was Mablethorpe near the East Coast.
Right.
On the East Coast. And basically, this run-down hotel, I can't remember how many rooms it had. It probably had about 10 to 15 rooms.
Yes.
And the chap there told me that the government, the MP, had come round and offered him money, £1 million to house illegal immigrants.
Well, we had the owner of a castle in Tintagel on the phone, part of Mappin and Webb, fantastic guy, who was offered, he said he was offered 100% occupancy for several years. I worked it out, several £1 million he would have got. He turned it down. What do you think of him?
He did it to save his local, because he'd have to get rid of the guys, they're billionaires. We get hotel owner billionaires now in this country.
Yeah. But that's the problem, you see. The government pushes money towards problems, but they're not actually dealing with the problem at the source.
And they said, Keir Starmer said he would stop it. Instead, they're secretly expanding it. Well, not very secretly, because we're finding out about it. So what would your answer... I mean, what are you in over this Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage Reform Party stuff? Were you going to vote? What's your views on all that?
I like Nigel Farage, right? And I actually think, given all the years and all the effort he's put in, maybe, again, I get called right-wing,